Hello, everyone. My name is Georgette Truan. I am the host of Real Talk with Miss G and the gang, and I have my lovely co-hosts today, Darren Guy, Auntie Barb, and Dan and Lizzie. Their husband and wife. For those that don't know Dan and Lizzie, um, as you most of you guys know, I've known them for years, and alongside with Darren. And we have a guest today. Her name is Candace Edward. And most of you guys know that I work for the law office of Vincent Davis. And today's topic, we're going to talk about the do's and don'ts um, when it comes to CPS contacting you. Okay. Um,
Yeah, that's what we're going to do. But don't forget, if you're watching this, make sure you hit a like before we even start going on things, because like's very important if you're watching us on YouTube. It's going to help us along. We're trying to spread this word bigger, and we have some promises by other people that if we can show some likes, they'll help us with promoting the show. So if you're serious about fighting CPS and the corruption that they have, it's very important that you hit that like first. Also subscribe, but for us, the like is the most important. This is a
and
big deal.
you guys subscribe to YouTube as well and share it with everyone that has a CPS case or don't have a CPS case. The message is to bring awareness to everyone because there's so many people who called me who said they never knew about CPS and they never knew there was corruption and they were not aware what to do, what not to do. That to me is the ultimate revenge against CPS is for everyone to know what to do, what not to do, and for everyone to be able to watch and learn and educate themselves. That's very important, everyone. So,
Well, you work for Mr. Davis. They call you. What happens? What's the first thing, Georgia? Like you, as working for the law firm, what do you do? What's the first thing they call you? What do you do?
the first thing I would do is tell them not to communicate with the social worker without lawyering up. And oftentimes people say, well, the social worker wanted to come in my home. They're not allowed to be in your home without a court order. So oftentimes people get scared because the social workers come in with the police officer side, next to them, and they intimidate you because of a badge. That's to me, that is that's very important for you guys to understand that because they come with a police officer doesn't mean anything. If they don't
Yeah,
have
they're
a
not even supposed to be there, right? They're not even supposed to be a part of that, correct?
correct, they're not supposed to be a part of that. And the thing about it is but they use the police officer to intimidate people. And the thing about it is also that for them to come to your home without a court order, they can't just force themselves in. Even cops cannot force themselves in your home without a court order, without a warrant, actually, without a warrant. Correct? You guys know this, right?
I do
Right.
now.
And the preliminary protection orders and all that stuff, those are not the same as an actual warrant drawn up by a judge that says, hey, we're going to search and seizure or whatever they're going to do. Is very important. Like George just said, first thing, don't talk to them. Call a lawyer, because no matter what you think you are, you're not going to be as good at this game as they are. You probably have nothing to hide, but you having nothing to hide is giving them evidence against you, if you understand what I'm saying. You opening your mouth, giving them nothing is giving them something. You don't realize how awful these people are, how they'll twist your words. You're going to say, hey, I was the mom of the year, until little Debbie Sue fell down and, twisted her ankle. Oh, well, why wasn't she being supervised? Check that off in your little box. And the next thing, they're off to the races and you are an abuser. So as little and minute as this seems, the things that Georgette just said, just to start these, it's huge. That could be the difference between them actually removing the child from your home and your kid staying there. And that's just the God's honest truth. All of us in this show have all experienced this, and ultimately, I know what the end results are in a lot of our cases. And had I known this stuff at the beginning, I'm sure that our case would have been different. And I'm sure a lot of people's were. So, as simple as what she just said, those are huge points.
Mhm.
Just shut up. Don't say anything.
And don't try to
Call a
justify
lawyer.
yourself either. If you
Right.
guys
Call Vincent
notice,
Davis's office. Call that number on the bottom, right? 888-888-6582. Call them. Tell them CPS is coming. And they'll talk you through what you got to do next or refer you or do whatever. But call. Write that number down right there and call that. First thing you do. First thing.
and also you guys need to understand, for those who are watching this show, when you talk too much, you're literally setting yourself up to fail. And when you talk too much, they also see you as a liar. Believe it or not, even though if you're disclosing the truth, they also see you as you're lying. Because let your yes be yes and let your no be no without justifying your no, without defending yourself. Very few words is better than a lot of words. And I think you guys, most of you guys understand that. Yes, we do understand they violate your constitution rights. They do. They violate your rights every day because they set rules in place to violate your rights. The rules that they have in their entity, right, is to violate your rights because that's going around it. So to
Right.
manipulate it.
They're trained in trickery. They're trained. They are trained in trickery. Like police investigators and interrogators, they have some of those same skills and so on that they have to take in these college courses and everything. So, they're trying to get you to say something. They're trying to get you to admit to something that, is such an uncomfortable situation. You might even admit to doing something you didn't even do, and you don't even realize that you did that.
Exactly.
You know,
Exactly. That is so true, Darren. And let me go to Liz and Dan real quick. Liz, what is your thought about this conversation? Like, what can you tell the viewers about your own, maybe your case, or what you could have done different in your case when it first started? When you
Well, I
first
think definitely,
not
I
talk to
would
the
say
state.
definitely like probably just being a little more, not quite as quick to speak, maybe I should say.
Yeah.
Because that can be very quickly turned and just swap real quick is what they do. Which of course, after a long road of a little bit longer into the case, that's when I was a little more, how do you want to say, quiet towards what I said to them. I just more, went and would, if there would be like a conflict come up or with a caseworker or even somebody else, like just go and talk to the attorney. Just because you yourself might not know the legal term word, should I say, to represent that to a judge.
Mhm.
And a lot of that, like depending what it is, might have to go in front of that judge. And it would have to have more of that legal framework words.
Mhm.
And I
so
would
you're
caution
saying don't
people
try to
to
be a
know.
lawyer.
I
Wait,
would
Darren.
caution people to know the difference between a juvenile dependency lawyer and a family lawyer, criminal defense lawyer. Juvenile dependency court, CPS court, is unlike any other court there is. Whereas in a normal court, you're innocent until proven guilty. That's backwards in CPS court. In regular court, they have to have proof. CPS court, social worker writes something down, that's proof enough. They don't have to prove investigation, facts, nothing. It's hearsay.
Yep.
Any other thing, a judge would laugh it out of any other court. So when you're looking for a lawyer, make sure you find one, not just one that says, "Oh, it's family court, I got you," but an actual juvenile dependency lawyer. That's very important.
And make sure that you ask them if they've done juvenile cases. If how many cases have they done since their career? If they tell you one, hello, no,
Yeah.
no. Even if they
Your
tell you,
kid's
oh
worth every dime.
Yeah, even though they tell you the retainer is 1,500, if they tell you the retainer is 1,500, there's definitely something wrong with that.
Mhm.
Because when
Yeah,
you're
especially if they've only done one case. Like that could be dangerous in your own case,
If they
especially
only
with
did
one.
one case, they don't have the knowledge to go against the system.
exactly,
They don't have all that knowledge behind them to combat them and really actually do what they need to help take them down and hold up for your own rights as a parent, as a constitutional citizen, all those rights that you do have. If you have one that only had experience one time in this, they're not going to know the ins and outs of holding all that down and your kids in that situation and defending
exactly,
for you.
exactly. And let me tell you, on that point that Liz just mentioned, and 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 Barbara, is that when you guys contact an attorney, a family law attorney, or a criminal attorney, a criminal defense attorney, for example, they will take your small retainer, but then they don't understand the jurisdiction laws when it comes to juvenile dependency cases. They only know the jurisdiction laws when it comes to the own, the field that they're specialized in. And that's very important, extremely important. There's oftentimes I did a lot of research, and a lot of the court appointed attorneys, even their background is either criminal defense attorneys or what was the one that really got me is a immigration attorney.
Mhm.
I kid you not, I swear, as God is my witness, when I realized that, I was like, wait a minute, but then they have the title of juvenile, and no wonder they don't know what they're doing. No wonder they go along with whatever the social workers tells them to do, whatever the court tells them to do. They go along with it because they don't understand. They don't know. But they have the title juvenile dependency attorney. But I guarantee you, if you check your attorney, if you have a juvenile dependency attorney, you will understand what that attorney's background is.
That's huge because a lot of us will end up in the situation where we will get the public pretender. And for all of you out there, the public pretender is the lawyer that the state gives you. It's not free.
Right,
Taxpayers pay for these lawyers, or
right.
something pays for these lawyers. But beware. Number one, there is great resources online that tells you how you can work with these public pretenders and make them work for you. So number one, education, educate yourself in what needs to go on and what doesn't. Because honestly, these people work in the same system as the people that are prosecuting you. They go to Christmas dinners together. They're all family. They say OCFS, right? Office of Children and Family. Don't think that they're not doing the same thing as all of us are doing on the outside. They're all together. They all are part of this money eating machine. And all they're doing is holding your hand right down the aisle to the TPR so that they can ensure that an appeal doesn't work for you because they've legally destroyed your case, or they legally didn't build your case so that when you get to the appeal point, you can do that. By this, I mean, make sure if you don't like what's going on, you tell those people, sir, please go file a motion for this, or appeal this decision, or put an injunction. All of those things. You don't need to know a whole bunch of law stuff, but you know in your gut when they've done something wrong against you. This is your child. This is your livelihood. This is your future. Stop at nothing to be sure that they're safe. There's nothing anyone can tell you that is stupid, wrong, any of that. This is your fucking kid. You defend it to the last, period. And if these public pretenders don't work for you, you file a motion to the court and you say, get rid of this dude, give me another one. Go through this. Do not settle for second best. This is your child. Don't forget that. This is important. So now you got, don't talk to them. Contact Vince Davis's office just for original talk. Then you're going to move along, right? And then let's get your lawyer, because what's going to happen, like they talked about up here, they call it the substantiate. They substantiate you. and then they'll find, and that's based, like Andy Barr was saying, on a preponderance amount of evidence. And a preponderance amount of evidence, I think, is even less than hearsay, right? It's like maybe Georgette did wear 2 wrong socks because it's possible because she has a big dresser. Like that's the preponderance amount of evidence. So it's very low. However, what happens here is that your lawyer will say, hey, let's waive this because down the road, we don't want this to, some information to come out that they can use against you. However, what the court looks at now, or the caseworker may do when you get to you get down the road to say, these people didn't even care. We removed the kid, we gave them a 72-hour hearing. They waived their hearing. They had the opportunity to come there and present this evidence. So use every bit of court that you can as the parent. Use everything that you can. They're getting paid. You're not paying for it. Use it. That's all I can say, because again, they all work for the same team, and that's a fact. So there again, check the resources, so you know what you're looking at. I know they have all kinds of handbooks, they have all kinds of things. Get yourself a little notebook. Another thing, when you're communicating with any of them, emails only. Don't talk to them, because they're going to give you what they call a narrative, right? That narrative is every bit of conversations and everything that you've had, but it's only as they remember it. So it's not going to be verbatim or whatever. You're going to find untruths, lies.
Yep. Anything you say will and can be used against you in it.
Georgia,
and
I
big
think
time, they will do it with CPS. They will, anything you say, they will take and twist.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if it's red, it's blue. It's not, it's absolutely insane what they're allowed to do, because they're covered under this immunity. They have no fear. They have no fear to lie about you and who you are. It's awful. And your attorney needs to recognize when they're doing this. Georgia, what do they call that when you write that truth statement, or you balance off what they've said to, you fill out an affidavit of truth or something, right? What is that called?
What are you trying to say?
So if the caseworkers or whatever, you get your narrative, for instance, and it has lies about you in it. What is the paper that you would fill out?
Are you talking about the safety plan that they have parents sign?
If the caseworker has lied to you on documents and you want to dispute that, but you just want it in your case file, you're not going to go, isn't it like an affidavit of truth to you would give it to your attorney saying, Georgette didn't say my kid was home alone, but the caseworker said this, and then you would fill this out and insert it into the court and say, no, I did not say Darren's kid was home alone. I said I was home alone with Darren's kid. And then you sign that and then submit it to your attorney, which will submit it to the court so that they have something to back up that truth claim.
It's best for you guys to make sure that your court-appointed attorney discloses and discloses the evidence that contradicts whatever the social worker wrote down in the reports. Because if you guys don't do that on time, and then say, for example, 12 months from that day, then you hire another attorney or hire a private attorney and you want them to address what happened 12 months ago, it's not going to happen. Because now you're on stage 5. That should have been addressed when you're on stage 1 or 2. So it's very important for you guys to understand that when you hire an attorney months and months and months down the road, the attorney is going to address what's happening now. Yeah. Meaning, okay, so if that doesn't work, then say, for example, you're towards your TPR stage and reunification services was terminated, then guess what? That attorney has to appeal that decision. Appeal is very important, because having the right attorney for an appeal is very important. Don't ever think you can win the appeal on your own. That's 1 out of a million.
Yeah, it's like a 0.02% or something. It's ridiculously low.
Don't think that will happen. You guys have to understand that your attorney has to address things on time.
What would you say the best way to go about it, Georgette, would be if your attorney denies to do the reappeal if you have a TPR? And you
Um,
continue to ask, and they continue to deny you to reappeal it for you.
Well, that's why you can't depend on those attorneys. You have to depend
Yeah.
on a private attorney that will, because Mr. Davis was saying when somebody asked him on the show that I do with him at 7 o'clock daily, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time daily. Somebody asked him about if they can appeal an appeal that they lost, and he said yes, you can.
Mhm.
So
Do like a reappeal of the first appeal? Is that what you're meaning, Georgette? Okay.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
Okay.
what Georgette's saying though is watch yourself, because you have like 10 or 14 days. It's very small window of time. And furthermore, you have to realize what the laws are for that too. But you got to do something, because the appeals courts, especially, they do not wait for you. If you don't go, and they're very, whatever the word is that you say, like they're very, they're on time, perfect.
Punctual?
Yeah, that wasn't the word. 25 cents for the right word, like it sounds like residual, but it's not. Routine. They're very, like, you know what I mean. So that's not the word either. It's not routine. But what I'm saying is like, and then you can't, like in an appeal is not so you retry yourself. An appeal is an argument about the facts that you believe came up at your trial that were unjust, that they broke the laws, and then the appeal is only a consideration to be reheard, and you have to argue the laws, saying that the justices overlooked the laws. So now you're literally arguing with the judge about law. So that's why this is even more important, because I'm a closet, I'm an armchair Davis. I've been doing this for 2 years. At the end of the day, you don't know what you're talking about. You know what? I know what I'm talking about, but I don't know how to use it in the court. I'm very smart. I can write papers after papers, but when it comes down to filing the paperwork in this order, or systematically doing what you're supposed to do, that's very technical. It's very important. And if you don't know and you're not a lawyer, you're gonna burn. It's very stressful, on top of the fact that you already are in the position that you're in, of proving yourself innocent of something that you're not even guilty of. So to think that you can carry that burden on your shoulders, the weight of your family that's weighing on you, all of those things, you had to. Don't go at it alone. Ask for help. Call Davis. As far as your attorneys, my attorney, same thing. He says, listen, I'm not filing. I don't find anything in this in the case, like that I'm going to argue. So you can write this yourself, but I'm done. So that's essentially what you're telling me. But there's 14 days. It was 10 or 14, which I'm on like day 4. And I asked Davis, and Davis is kind of giving me light. So again, guys, be very wary of these timetables, because these justices don't bend that. They're a very respectable court. They're very old fashioned, I would say, right? Like they're very much on polite, like it's a whole different system than being in the district court system when you're at a TPR, and it's a free for all almost. When you're in this, it's very procedural. It's very dry. It's not like Law and Order on TV. Like I didn't even go to my appeal. Like my appeal was all done by briefs. One brief, we didn't even get an oral argument or anything. Again, I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know. So don't take anything that I say as such. But pay attention to these things. So that being said, like notebook, get yourself a notebook. Write down every phone call that you make. Write down every transmission that you have with anybody. Get yourself a recorder. Record everything. Do not stop recording ever, because the second these people get to twist something on you, they're going to. And you know what? They're going to come in. They're not your best friend. They're not your girlfriend from college. It's not your buddy from the gym. They're not none of this stuff. Like they'll even, hey, let's go out, Bob. We'll have a beer or something. Boom, you just screwed yourself, because now you're drinking alcohol with this guy. So again, close your mouth, contact a lawyer, get a notebook, write it down, right? And then what do we do after that? Then we find our lawyer, however we find them, and then we do what we do. That's shut our mouths, watch our lawyer.
It's cheaper to find an attorney from the beginning. If you
Right.
wait longer for an attorney, I mean, if you wait longer on your case thinking that the social workers are doing the right thing because you're a great parent, your
Yeah.
retainer is going to double or quadruple depending on the severity of the case. Now, oftentimes when I get calls from people, they say I am dealing with a CPS investigation, et cetera, et cetera. Well, lawyer up now. Then they say to me,
Mhm.
well, Miss G, I am a good parent. I don't think they're going to really take the kids from me because I did nothing, right? And then they call me back a year or two, like Michael did. Michael was one of the co-hosts I had on my shows before, and he said, Miss G, I wish I would have hired you. I wish I would have hired you back when this happened, because he regretted, because now his case is so complicated. He went through hell and back and nothing happened positive on his case like the social worker promised him, because he wasn't even the offending parent. So he even spoke on that several times on the shows. It is
Hey,
cheaper to hire an attorney from the beginning of your case. Do not wait and don't open your mouth and then hire an attorney. Because now, I mean, while you
no,
can still
damage
hire an
control.
attorney, but when you open your mouth, you're setting, again, they will take every word you said and make it into something that's completely different than what
Mhm.
came out of your mouth. I kid you not, they actually do lie and they
Oh,
fabricate information and withhold evidence. And Auntie Barb, I know you want to talk, you want to say something, but after you, I am going to move to Candace Edwards, and I know she wants to share some important
I'm
information.
waiting for that mouth to rock off. I know you got something to say in there, kid. I can't believe you're just holding
Candace
on
do.
to it.
But
I'm
Auntie
just
Barb, go ahead.
waiting. I'm
I
just
was just going
waiting.
to say, I completely agree with you. They like to go around and tell people you're crazy to discredit you when you can prove what you're saying, but they can't prove what they're saying.
Correct.
And that's why another reason you need to be careful what you say to them, because they will go around and tell people you're crazy, even though it's a HIPAA violation. They get away with it because of qualified immunity. However, there's an end run around that. It's called an insurance company. And despite what certain people say, you can file directly with them. I found that out. So
It's only qualified immunity when they're within the law.
So there's a
exactly.
guy named David.
A lot of people don't realize that.
Right. That's what the
Wow.
insurance
That's
company.
a good point there, Dan.
Thank you, Georgette.
Yeah, that guy, David Shallett Klein. He's at the Family Justice Law Center. He's actually got a huge class action lawsuit challenging the searches and seizures that they've got going on.
But where is that? Where is that?
You know what? Give me about 27 seconds and I will tell you where he's at and everything.
Okay, meanwhile, we're gonna move on to Candace, because I know Candace has a lot to share. Candace, go right ahead, dear.
Hello, y'all. I'm Candace Edwards. The qualified immunity, like I was just talking about, one thing I will tell you, as long as you can pull the jurisdiction, you automatically pull the immunity. I know a lot of people go around saying that, oh, well, they've got qualified immunity. It doesn't matter what you do. But as long as you pull that jurisdiction, that immunity goes right out the window. As far as like when it comes to
what do you mean jurisdiction? Like what? Like I'm a 30-year-old. Like
one thing about when it comes to like jurisdiction, I know in my case, as long as like you're looking at a situation, for instance, where due process, okay, if due process is taken from you, automatically right then and there, jurisdiction is taken, and that's where your qualified immunity, that's going to be canceled out the door. So that's one thing in my case, and I know with actually several people's cases, none of us parents actually get due process whatsoever. As far as like what to do when DHR CPS shows up, at your house, I'm gonna tell you right now, don't answer that door. Do not answer that door. If they try to threaten you, lock your door. I would call the sheriff right then and there, because automatically, just because DHR shows up at your house does not give them the right to just barge up into your house. There's this thing that's called search and seizure. That stands for everything. They have to have that warrant, and on that warrant, it has to be a wet signature on that document, as well as an affidavit. If I was you, I'd call the sheriff automatically, because the police officers, they can't just come up to your house and say, "Oh, we've got a warrant," and not have that piece of paper there. I'd call the sheriff, and I would make the sheriff do his job. I don't know what exactly.
I don't know what you mean by, okay. You guys do understand that most of the police department and the sheriff department work together with CPS, right?
Correct.
So when you
Sometimes
do
they're
call
married to
them,
CPS.
but when you do call them, are they really going to do anything about it? Because CPS has control over the situation.
Exactly.
Well,
That's the problem. They're all in it together.
They all
they
work
all
together.
have an oath. They all have an oath. They sign just like these judges, just like these lawyers, just like our politicians. They all have an oath. I had an oath that I signed, being a National Guard, and they have a surety bond that's right behind that oath. That when it comes to the sheriff himself, he's supposed to uphold the Constitution of the United States of America. I would question that. I would, make him hold his oath.
They have an oath, but they don't want to uphold it.
Yeah, well, that's just like, the judges. They have an oath. If they're not upholding their oath, I tell you what, go after their insurance, go after their bonds.
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot
And
of
the problem is, though, a lot of these judges and attorneys I've found too, a lot of them they aren't even legit judges or attorneys. They're not even licensed anymore.
No, you're absolutely right. The last time that a United States of America has actually had a judge was 1989, which means all administrative courts are all judges are just administrative courts. That's it. They're not even doing what they do. And as far as the parents that actually have, the criminal charges, when it comes down to the sheriff is supposed to make sure that that individual is supposed to have due process. And what that means is you have a presentment, which is a grand jury trial has handed down an indictment, or you have had a grand jury trial. End of story. That is due process for when it comes to the inmates. Every sheriff is supposed to make sure that every inmate that walks through that door has had due process. That's one of the things that I'm fighting right now with my case, is the fact that I'm actually one of the first people in the state of Alabama to actually question the constitutionality of debtor's prison. And as I've gone through my case, one thing I've looked at is looking at the sheriff. So I've actually downloaded the sheriff's handbook. And if you'll read through that, it'll tell you exactly what they're supposed to do, even when it comes to as far as like the jails and the prisons, what they're supposed to make sure that each inmate has and it doesn't have, and things like that. So
How could you go to like you were saying, the insurance, if they're not licensed and there hasn't been a licensed attorney or judge?
well, every judge actually has a oath of office that they actually sign. Okay, and in order to actually be employed, they have that bond, a security bond. I've got a whole list of websites that you can actually go look into, as well as you can go to. I have found in the state of Alabama. There's several states that's on this website. You just kind of have to look around. But within the state of Alabama, I went to godort.liveguide.com. And on there, I was able to find two of the insurances, which one of them was Alpha, which that is for your public officials. And then there's an attorney's insurance as well. So it's all about the research. And to be honest with you, that's been one of the hardest things that I've myself have had troubles trying to find, is the insurance that they use for the bonds.
You're supposed to be able to call the risk management officer at your board of supervisors, because that's public information, and they should give you the name of the insurance company or whoever holds the surety bond for CPS, and for the county. Now, some counties apparently can get away with doing a pool. So even when they tell you CPS is a state agency, so they have no jurisdiction over it, once you find out that CPS is in fact part of that county insurance plan, that right there nails it, that it's a county office. And for lawyers, you can contact your state bar association and find out who holds the insurance for them. For your judge, at least here in California, and I think this is like across the country, but here in California, it's called the Commission on Judicial Performance. You can file a complaint with them directly, and they can tell you who holds the insurance bond for the judge too. Because if they're licensed, they have to have, and that's like the tricky thing with social workers. If they're a licensed social worker, they're supposed to have that, that insurance like a nurse would have in case something happened. But we all know CPS does not necessarily hire licensed social workers. So that provides an extra little twist with the qualified immunity as well.
Do you know what the differences are? Like what goes on between a licensed and unlicensed? What are they capable of? What are they not capable of? Like, do we know this for real? Like, we know this for real. It's really a certification, but like, what are the different? Like a nurse and a doctor. Two different.
The way I had it explained to me, there's the social worker supervisor, and all the powers that be, and then there's the licensed social worker and the unlicensed social worker. So like, say you have a doctor's office, right? You have the office, then you have the actual doctor, then say you have a nurse practitioner or a physician's assistant. They work under the license of the doctor. So the unlicensed social workers work under the license of the social workers in the CPS.
Now,
they don't have the same protections necessarily?
Okay, do they carry the same clout though? Like, can they prosecute you? Can they carry the same, do they?
They fill out the paperwork and give it to the judge, and then the judge just doesn't question it. Oh, this person beat a child. Okay, where's the medical records? Where, all the things the judge should be asking, that's where the judge is supposed to be that safety net and review and actually ask CPS, where's your documentation? And they don't do it. But from, at least here in California, the unlicensed social workers can fill out all the same forms that a licensed social worker does. Just like if you go to see your nurse practitioner instead of your doctor, they can write out a prescription for you and send you to a specialist or whatever, just like your doctor could do. You're just falling under that doctor's license or that social worker's license.
But are they? That's so cool, they allowed? Nancy Barb, that you said that. That's good information.
Right. But if they're not certified, do they can they come into your home by themselves? Are they supposed to be supervised?
I don't know what the actual law regarding that is, because again, like if you take the analogy of the nurse practitioner, they can do everything the doctor up to a certain point. Like they can't write out narcotic prescriptions, right? But they can do everything else. They can do your heart medicine, whatever. So I don't know if that's what I'm trying to figure out. Is there a limit where the licensed and unlicensed social worker, where a licensed one has to step in, or can they all be unlicensed?
Candace, you're a book. What do you think? Have you read anything about this?
I have not. I actually just sent you a Child Protective Services guide for caseworkers.
Nice.
Just now. Well, I'm sitting here.
I'm going to put that on the chat.
Is that for the state? Is that for your state, or is that for? Each state is different, you guys.
Right. Well, it's childwelfare.gov. So I'm assuming it's across the nation.
Candace and I have such a library. I'll bet you. I bet the library that they have doesn't even consist of the amount of documents that her and I have shared with each other throughout this time. It's insane. The information is out there for you to take. You just gotta be able to do it. You take the time to do it, and your kid is damn well worth the time. Research, like we said, because the public pretenders are not going to do this for you. They're not. They will not, and it's unfortunate, but you need to, the key to all this, and we talk about it, Georgette, too, is educating people. You got to educate people that just because you've had contact with CPS doesn't necessarily mean that you're a piece of trash, you're a bad person. The stigma that's been attached to being involved with child protective services has completely destroyed and isolated. I mean, you got to think about how many people in this country are affected by this. I mean, this has been going on for 50 years, right? So you figure for every family, let's just break it down at like a minimum of 4, right? Because you got a sister or a brother, let's call that 1. And then you got 2 parents. So that's 3. That's 4 people out of each family. And then it goes from there to there to there. Like over the years, I mean, we got to have millions and millions in this country that have been directly affected by the actions of child protective services, right? Like, what do you think? So together in a unity sense, all of us should be able to band together and stop these bastards, these demons, these destroyers of family, and put them in their place, which is fucking gone.
I agree
that's
with you.
it.
For those of you guys that are not aware of CPS and what their motives are, they make incentives from every child removed. And every minute that child is in their custody, they make more money. When they get that child adopted, that's depending on the child's age or what the adoptive foster parents request or their desire. What they do, they say they're focused on reunification, but they're really not focused on reunification because their words are not. It's contradicting their actions. Because if they really are focused on reunification, they would do a bonding study with the child and the mom and et cetera, and not cut their visitation short or blame the mom that she didn't show up to the visit, et cetera. All this, the way they handle the case is so crazy. Like, I was researching the other day and there was a social worker. I'm going to actually talk about this tomorrow, God willing. A social worker that was arrested by the sheriff department because she lied. She fabricated information. She wrote down information that was not true. And they found out that it was happening on all of her cases. And when they showed her picture, it was all over YouTube. When they showed her picture, I was so disgusted. She looked so evil. So evil. She was like 20 something years old. And
Are you referring to the one, Los Angeles one there?
I think so. I think it was Los Angeles. I'm not sure, but it was late at night.
I think so.
It was like, actually, it was at 1:30 this morning. That's
Yep.
when.
Yeah. I think that's the one it is. Yeah.
What were you on, your 15th cup of coffee?
You know what? Yesterday I had 12 cups of coffee, as a matter of fact.
Like everybody knows, Georgette, send her coffee. As much coffee. Send this woman coffee. She lives and breathes this stuff.
Yep.
But you have
Coffee
to.
is
The amount of
my
work
drug
you
of
do, the
choice.
amount of work you do.
Yeah, I have to. But honestly, this lady, this woman, this young lady, whatever she is, she disgusts me. And the now they have to go back and review all her cases, right? All the cases. They do lie. They lie deliberately. They fabricate information deliberately to sabotage any chance you have. And bonding study is very important. Bonding study, you guys, is very, very important, because if your attorney is not pushing that, then there's something definitely wrong with this picture. And
My opinion, if they're gonna want to say their main purpose for goal is reunification to the family or the mom, dad, whatever it is in that situation. Well, why don't they give incentives to help the parents to be able to get to where they need
Oh, no.
to, reunite their children or their family, their child, whatever, instead of giving it to all these other people? In my opinion, that would be the way to actually reunite.
well, that's
and
a
help
good
them.
that's a good point too. But the thing about it is, like I explained to you guys before, is that the way that the program, or the way that stupid Clinton put it in place, is that when the children are placed in a foster home, We did not say with family members. So basically, they give the incentives when the children are placed in a foster home. So oftentimes, depending on the relationship from that family member, grandma, uncle, aunt, all this, sometimes they will turn against the parent because of their own gain. So what do? They hate the parents. They talk crap about the parent to the social worker. Then the social worker says, you know what, Auntie Sylvia, I need you to get your foster license because we're going to place the kids with you. So what does Aunt Sylvia do? She goes and does the foster license and she gets placement of the children. But in the court documents, they don't say Aunt Sylvia
Right.
has the children. They say foster mom, Sylvia Smith has the children. That's exactly how they address the family member. So it's very important for you guys to understand just because the social worker is telling you that's what's going to happen, it doesn't necessarily mean it happens. So, but they do this to make sure you're not lawyered up. They want you to depend on the court appointed attorney. It's very important for them. If you notice, the first thing they ask you, if I'm not mistaken, the first thing they ask you is, can you afford an attorney? Why do they ask you that? Because they want to know if you're going to go fight them or you're just going to settle with the court appointed attorney. Because that's their goal, is for you to settle with the court appointed attorney. Court appointed attorneys work side by the social workers. Do not ever get fooled and think that they do not interact with the social workers. And oftentimes they do hearings without your knowledge. You don't know what happened in those hearings. We have a client today with her CFT meeting with the social workers. I made the appointment with the social worker and Attorney Davis and the client because I told the social worker, the client, that Mr. Davis needs to be on that hearing, but the meeting. Now, when they tell you guys that they can do if an attorney tells you can do the CFT meeting without them, then they're not for you. Mr. Davis is very big on that. Even if somebody else in our office is handling the case, Mr. Davis will make sure that he or the other attorney is on that CFT meeting because they will eat you alive. They will do things and say things that didn't even happen. So that CFT meeting with the social worker or workers is very important for your attorney to be there. He has to hear it. Even if it's on Zoom, your attorney has to hear what's going on. That's very important. So their goal is to make sure that you guys are not aware of that.
Mhm.
Because your court appointed attorney says, go ahead, Sylvia, you can be, or go ahead, Amanda, you can be on that court, that CFT meeting without me. You don't need me. I can't be on that CFT meeting. That's not true. Attorney Davis made that very clear to me several times, that an attorney should be available to hear what is going on.
Mhm.
That is very important, but most of you guys are not aware of that. Am I right or wrong? Auntie Barb, did you know that? Candace, did you know that?
I know
Theyre,
that now.
exactly.
At the time when my lawyer said, it's just an informational meeting, you'll be fine, I believed her. That was her excuse to not show up.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, because I'm locked up right now, so I can't get the camera, but whatever. But so that's the one that I was talking about earlier. The one that, the attorney says, let's waive that because we don't want to have the, down the road, there's information they can use against you. But then they turn it around as you didn't have the interest in the, to go and try to get your kid back, because that's the first step. And that what also is important in most cases, that's where they get their funding from. Like that's the ticket to the first paycheck for them. That's the judge has said, all systems go, people, let's get ourselves some Title IV. Like that's once that happens, the clock is going, and again, it's time, there's no time to waste, but there's plenty of time to lose that you can never get back. If you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's a terrible thing.
Auntie Barb, let me make that point real quick, honey. when they tell you guys that the visit was or the visit or the visit is not going to happen, like the visit was canceled, for example, they don't tell they tell your children something completely different. They tell your children that the mom show up to the visit.
Yeah.
Your
Yep.
mother didn't want to show up to the visit. I speak to
Mhm.
so many uh, kids who grew out of the system, and they all told me the same thing. And all these kids are from different states
Mm-hmm.
and
Mhm.
different counties, not from the same state. All of them, and they don't know each other, but they all tell me the same thing. Miss G, they told us mom and dad didn't want to see us.
Yep.
They told us mom didn't want to see us anymore. And the kids would react
Ugh.
towards that. Then guess what? Then the kids misbehave, and then the social workers will put them on medication, right?
Mhm.
They
You're
put
absolutely right.
keep them silent, and there's nothing wrong with the child. Nothing
Yeah.
is
First
wrong
complaint.
with the child, but they
Mhm.
medicate the children. That's what gets to me,
Yes.
to my heart, is the child.
Mm-hmm.
Is the child. You are medicating the child and making the child look like they're crazy when the
Yes.
child wasn't crazy in the mother's custody or the aunt's custody or
Yes.
whatever. And Auntie Barb is crying because she feels it. She feel like every one of us feel it.
Mhm.
This shit is real,
She's a
guys.
beautiful, happy little girl
Yes,
until the abusers got a hold of her.
exactly.
Right. They're the ones that cause the pain and suffering. These CPS agents.
Yep.
And this is the thing. No one talks about the rights of the kids. What
Right.
do they do? I mean, you got to think about this. We're all adults. I can call Georgette. I can call Candace. I can
Yes.
call Auntie Bart. This little child is dropped into the middle of a fucked up situation
Yes.
already, that they're, without their security blankets. They've got to learn to adapt on their own, because it's fucking sick
Yep.
what they are allowed to do,
Yep.
that they cut these children off, are you shitting me? That they literally drop a little child off to a fucking stranger in the middle of Timbuktu or wherever?
Yep.
This is what we accept in this country, the United States of America, where we send young men to die for our freedoms. They
Yep.
didn't fucking go fight for this shit. They didn't go fight for this fucking caseworker to have immunity to steal a little 3-year-old kid and drop it off in the middle of a fucking town 2 miles down the road with a fucking rapist. This is
Exactly.
bullshit.
It is
Yeah.
And
bullshit.
people need to realize this.
And
Something
go ahead, Auntie Barb. Go ahead.
Oh, no, that's okay. I was just
that was
asking,
me.
take a child from a tiny town and drop her 60 miles away from home in a huge city and cut her off from everybody she's ever
Yeah.
known, and don't even put her in public school because you're too
Just
afraid
Just
of
from all
what she's going to
uniting and going to
say.
get our kids.
But wait, you guys.
This is trafficking.
It
Can I
is
say
trafficking. It is
this is
trafficking.
trafficking?
It
There's
is
a lot of
trafficking.
things that people don't. Huh?
We looked up, a friend of mine and I looked up the Adoption Safe Families Act, the Adoption Incentive Bonus. Her 13-year-old son, we had him read one line on it, the one that says $10,000. Basically, it's what the child is, it's what's paid for the child when they adopt the child. And he read it. 13-year-old boy knows nothing about, this kind of stuff. He said, they're selling kids. A 13-year-old boy picked up on it. And you're telling me all these adult politicians don't pick up on it? All these
That's
ones
Nancy
that want to
Granger
scream
did. Look
about
at her.
waste,
She's
fraud,
dead.
and abuse, take a look at ASFA, take a look at Title 4E. There's things like, okay, say you have a court document, and you can prove that a child was, CPS started the adoption process more than a month before that child was even made a dependent of the county, within just a few months of taking that child without a warrant. Then you spend the next 2 years telling the parents, oh, do this drug test, take this class, do this, do this. Isn't that fraud? They are getting the money from the state and the feds for these classes, these programs, these tests, blah, 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 with no intention of giving the child back. That is
They don't listen to
fraud.
the results if it doesn't work in their favor. They don't listen.
Exactly.
They don't care. So you get a counselor that you've been to for 2 years, like a friend of mine. They go to the TPR hearing. The counselor says, nothing's wrong. This person's a great parent. CPS came in and screwed them up. And they said the same about the mother. The mother has no problems. She suffers from depression because CPS took their child. So 5 different counselors. You go, this is all they have at a TPR hearing, and these people lose their kid for things that these people, they've spent the money on. They've shown that they had no issues whatsoever. The only issue is now is this poor child that has been freaking destroyed.
And I can tell you, they will adopt a child out to people who literally cannot take care of a dog, have starved a dog, have abused a dog. But go ahead, adopt another child. Yeah.
It takes a real asshole to be able to just grab a kid from a house, lie about it, and tear them away from their family. You got to think about this. You got a freaking person that's willing. You are a good person, crying your eyes out, pouring your heart out, wanting to stop it, not to get your kid out of their range, and you don't do it because some reason you're going to protect the law, because like these people deserve to have that civil notion, but nonetheless, and they take your kid out. What kind of person does this? I mean, an undertaker at least knocks on your door and gives you a minute. You know, like,
you want to know something sick? That dog that I referenced that was starved, do you know he has more rights than the child who owns him?
Of course. That's what I'm saying. No one talks about the kids. Yeah, he'd probably the dog gets to go outside. Who knows?
I could go press charges for what happened to the dog right now. I can't press charges for what's happened to the girl, but I can press charges for what happened to the dog.
I had a good conversation with Candace and her partner there last night, and we talked about this. And he said, what did he? Let me see. Let me kind of go back to the numbers. He's a private investigator, and he was saying that 97% of all the trafficking comes from the United States. He was saying that, oh my God, what were a couple of the numbers? You know, he was talking about the difference in the money that they get from a 0 to 5-year-old, 9 to 10, you know, like the different ages, how they do that. And you know what? Let's just be real, right? This is real talk. They're fucking selling these things to pedophiles and child molesters and abusers and to these third world countries that have this hierarchy of kings. Like, let's be real about this. You want to call a spade a spade? This is what the caseworkers are ripping our families apart for, to sell our children, to be torn apart for kidney and, you know, organ sales and all of this shit. This is what's going on. This is what's real. We all know it on this show because you know what? It doesn't take very long. When they take your kid out and you start researching this, you get past page 1 of Google about all the, CPS is the best thing ever. You get to page 2 and here comes the real shit. And then it goes more. And there's a whole bunch of people like us trying to make little groups. Please help us. Look at the pleads that we're all doing for these people in this country to help us.
I want to share
everybody.
I want to share a link with everyone right now. I just shared it. You guys need to know your rights. This information was on the news, ABC News, and it says know your rights in Child Protective Services investigation. And I read something that somebody wrote on there. It says, I grew up in a neglectful home, but 99% of my childhood trauma is from foster parents.
Yes.
And that is the God honest truth. And
I'm actually a foster child myself. I grew up out of the system. I was adopted out of the system. And I will tell you, a lot of the parents who are dealing with the CPS system, they are second, third generations that's dealing with it. And going back to the whole trafficking situation, just because a parent said, you hear about a family having to deal with DHR or CPS, does not mean that they are a bad parent. In my particular situation, it's straight up trafficking. There's no neglect, there's no child abuse or nothing like that. A lot of parents I know, Darren's one of them, literally being made, as a dependent on the state, and then the state comes in and literally abducts the children and turns around and traffics them for money. One of the ages that we was talking about that they look at is ages 1 through 5. It's the youngest ones, especially, you got your blonde hair, blue eyes. They're actually looking for a particular bloodline, a particular hair color. And I know for Alabama particularly, it made me sick. Like, I've always heard that they actually have websites where they sell children on there. Alabama DHR has a website where it literally shows you what child you can choose from. And that is sickening. What thing I cannot stand and I don't understand and I cannot fathom why it has it in our laws, our administrative codes, that it is against the law to buy and sell children, yet these judges and CPS, DHR, HHS, and whatever you want to call it, the ABCs, they're allowed to get away with this. How is it that somebody please help me? I can't get it through my head. I mean, I'm literally self-taught when it comes to the law, but at nowhere can I see or understand how is it they're able to get away with buying and selling children. It is illegal as all get out.
It goes back to that, what we were talking about earlier, the secrecy within CPS and in the court, how you have no due process. Like a woman, you know, maybe her and the baby's father are not together, whatever. Her husband, her legal husband now, who would be the stepfather of the child, can't go into court with her because he's not, quote, a party to the case. You can't have your pastor going with you or your best friend or your mom go in with you as a support system because there's too much secrecy. And because of that, and because for how many decades now have people been afraid to stand up and speak out against CPS because they're either afraid of retaliation, losing their job, or you know, just whatever. They're shamed. Oh, you had CPS in your life. You must be a horrible person. And people have been too afraid. That's why it's so important that people are starting to speak out now. And let's take away that cover of secrecy and let the world know what's going on in these courts. Because people don't believe it when, oh, well, you know, there's the Constitution, you've got due process, not in CPS court. Oh, you've got this right or that right, or this law says that or that. Yeah, that's fine and dandy in every other court except CPS court. So we need to bring a light to it to show people what is happening, you know, and that's what we're doing here.
That's very well said, Barb. Very well said. You guys need to seriously understand your rights, and I can't emphasize that enough to you guys. And also, when it comes to a CPS investigation, um, again, I'm going to make sure you guys understand this. If they tell you they have a order, court order to remove your child, ask to see that court order. Take a picture of that court order. Make sure it's signed by the judge. Make sure that court order is signed by the judge. And Attorney Davis said that they're supposed to tell you why they're removing your children. That's why it's very important for you to speak to an attorney. And depending on your state and your county, make sure that you find a juvenile dependency attorney as well, to understand your rights for that state. Well, this and Dell said that she's in Minnesota and her only when children are TPR'd are they in pre-adoptive status.
Maybe by the paperwork, but they already know what they're doing. Come on.
They already know they're going to adopt your child,
Yeah,
and
that's
from
done
day
deal.
one before they even go to your home. You guys
Right.
think this is just news? It's not news.
This is not a game. This is not fake.
Not a
This is
game.
not made up.
I'm gonna
And
I'm gonna tell you something my friend told me. For those of you that watch my shows with Attorney Davis at 7 p.m. every night, I have a friend of mine. Her and I became close for quite some time now, but she was working for a department for, brief minute, and she found out that the supervisor is behind the children being removed. Meaning, if she tells her supervisor that the home is good, there's nothing wrong with the children, they're not abused, it was false allegation, blah blah blah, then the supervisor says no, because now the supervisor knows that child she has a baby, for example, and the baby is like, for example, a blonde hair, blue eyes baby, and the adoptive foster home wants that type of baby to adopt. So basically, what they do is they force that social worker to do, the
do the dirty work.
shit. So basically, it depends. Like if the social worker goes along with it, that means that social worker literally have no heart. Like she has no common sense, or they're evil inside. But the ones who don't last in the department and the ones that resign from the department willingly resign, is because they can't sleep at night. They can't keep hurting parents like this. Those are the ones that leave. But the ones that remain in there are the ones who are already bankrupt from themselves. That's
Mhm.
very important for you guys to understand. When you meet a social worker that says, "Oh yeah, I want to make a difference. That's why I became a social worker," that's bullshit. Because if you're there and you continue to be there, then there's something wrong with your mind. Something is wrong with your soul. Something is either you're without a soul or you're just a fucking demon. Because you don't just steal a child from a mom who's
Ah,
a good parent just because for your own gain. You can't
shouldn't hurt to be a mother.
do this shit. You can't be normal doing this. And for them to use them as incentive, they're using them as merchandise that sells. You can't be human. You cannot be human to do such act. But the kids who are being abused and completely ignored in a home, you turn the other way from that child or the children who are being abused. Because you guys been called, you guys were told that those children are being abused, but you don't save them. You do this, you go, social workers that is, you go to the home, unfounded, you pieces of shit, son of a system.
Well, and if you
You
think
know
about it,
exactly what you're doing.
Mhm.
And
If
you
you-
say unfounded, what the hell does that mean? When the children die later on.
Maine is the #1 state for children deaths.
Exactly. And then they say social workers didn't do anything. Why not social workers? Why do you attack the good parent, the good home? Because of unfounded allegations from mom's sister or dad's mother who doesn't like the wife and she wants to destroy the wife or wants to destroy the son for marrying this woman or vice versa. It is all unfounded shit. But you target those parents. Why? Because those kids come from a good home. Those kids actually are nourished. They're loved. You want to destroy those kids because you have to be a demon to remove children for your own gain. You have to be a demon. Only a demon. Only a demon attacks those God's children. Only a demon wants to separate the families. Only a demon wants to separate what God joined together. And that's exactly what the United States is all about. In other countries, Europe, other countries, there is no freaking shit that can move the child from the mom. I kid you not. They focus on the mom. If you go to the Middle East, they kiss the mother's hand. If anybody attacks their mother, they will go after you like hyenas that will eat your flesh alive. And I kid you not, you guys are destroying children. You guys are destroying the future. You guys are focused on corrupting every child out there, medicating them while the pharmaceutical companies are making money off of this shit. This is real shit. This is real shit. Governor Newsom actually announced, and I heard it on Newsmax, announced that they're going to kill the contract between them and Walgreens. Why? Because Walgreens refused to give medication for abortions. They refuse to be involved with any abortion medication, and Governor Newsom is killing that contract between the county and Walgreens. I mean, we're talking about the state, county, whatever, I forgot the exact word.
That's a lot of money.
It's the state. It's $54 billion, I think it was.
Yes, they give them that much money to give medication, to do this, to prescribe medication. The pharmaceutical companies are $1 trillion a year company. You have to understand, without this company, without you, first of all, we have natural medicine, but they want to fuck with you because they want you to depend on this medication. When you take one medication, guess what? You are literally causing more harm to your body because of that one medication is what? Numbing one pain, but it's causing 4 different other pains and 4 different
Yeah,
other
let's give these kids Ritalin. Let's give them all of this
children,
fucked up. They got ADHD. They got.
hey, Darren, with the
Argument
children,
compliance.
wait, let me make my point. With the children being medicated is to keep the child quiet. They want to quiet this child or the children
Yes.
from feeling pain. And then they're going to blame it on the mother. They're going to say the mother caused this when in fact that child was an A and B student. That child was in the league. That child was healthy. That child was nourished. That child was loved. But you guys are medicating them because you have a contract with the pharmaceutical companies to do that. You guys have a contract with them to do that. Like every other doctor out there, the first thing they do, oh yeah, you need this medication. Well, guess what? The pharmaceutical companies are in contract with that doctor to promote their medication, this specific medication. You guys have to understand the counties and the states are not for the people, but we elect them. We put them on the damn seat. We fucking put these motherfuckers on the seat because we are Democratic Party or we are a Republican Party. So let's go for
We
them.
are the people.
Let's vote for them because we are party. We are party. We are party. Party of what? You're party of destruction.
Party of shit.
Are. Whoever voted for Newsom, shame on you. I can't stand that guy for shit. This guy is full of shit. This guy is for the counties. This guy promotes CPS and their corruption. This guy knows exactly what they're doing and he's going along with it. Why? You guys voted for him because of a pretty face? Because I don't see a pretty face. I see corruption. That's what I see when I look at Governor Newsom. That's exactly what I see. You guys voted for Biden? Well, shame on you. And I don't give a shit who you are. Shame on
Put
you.
a pedophile in the White House.
Voting for this man who literally did nothing for this country, but you have the audacity to make fun of Trump because he spoke his mind. Well, guess what? For many of you, I was not a fucking Republican. I never voted Republican, and I didn't vote for Biden, just so you know. But let me tell you something. I used to not like Donald Trump. I was against Donald Trump until I myself realized that everything he said literally was the truth. You might not like the way he approaches the situation. You might not like the way he handled the situation as presidency. Well, guess what? He was right on everything he said that was going to happen. He even mentioned Ukraine. He mentioned China. He mentioned what will happen if Biden takes office. He didn't speak like a politician. He spoke his mind.
Spoke like a hearted man.
I'm speaking my mind to you right now. I'm not a politician, but I'm speaking my mind to you right now because I don't give a shit. I'm telling you what I know to be true. I'm telling you how you guys need to handle the situation when it comes to voters. This is the reason why we are in this fucking mess. Because you guys keep voting for people just because they're colored or just because they're Democrat or just because all this bullshit that you guys think in your head. It doesn't matter if whoever's running is a woman or a man or black or white or purple or green or Asian or Middle Eastern. It doesn't matter. Because when we all bleed, we bleed the same color blood. So don't fucking think that your way is the right way because of a party. I get really upset with this shit because you guys talk all kinds of smack, but you don't see the children who are being trafficked in the United States on your land, and you are focused on the fucking president because he's a Democrat.
And he's a pedophile.
Show me what fucking shit.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
This is American people. Show me one fucking shit that Biden did and Kamala for the American people. Show me, because there is none. Because he's focused on fucking Ukraine when he's not focused on the children being trafficked. Where are you?
The biggest money-making machine in this country are our children.
Disgusting. This shit is disgusting. And I am fucking fed up. I was trying to be calm. I told myself not to react about this, but you know what? Enough is enough. Enough is enough.
Yes, ma'am.
And you guys need to be aware. You guys need to fucking speak up. We're paying for these motherfuckers. We're paying for them. How can
We're
you
the people.
Be silent?
Everyone needs to realize that when it comes to the government,
They are not here to govern us. We are here to govern them. They are only here to uphold our laws. We are literally their bosses. We are the ones that buy them their brand new houses, their brand new cars, that nice ass meal that they just fucking ate, while our families are dealing with DHR and CPS and being ripped apart. Everybody needs to fucking come together and stand the fuck up.
Yes.
Okay. And also another thing, they're telling the American people who don't have a CPS case, oh, you guys, we need CPS. Why? Why? Because look at this, kids are dying. Kids are dying. But what they don't tell them is that CPS was aware, but they didn't get involved.
They left them alone.
Look at how many children are dying in their care.
Well, and here's another thing too. How many kids go missing from CPS? And here's the thing. When a child, at least here in California, when a child goes missing from CPS, I'm assuming every state has a website that you can go to and look up missing children. You know, verify, oh my gosh, is that little Timmy? Is that who I recognize? When a foster child goes missing, that child is not reported, because then that would be reported to the state and the money is stopped. The county will not get the money for that child if it's not in custody. If that child has run away, then that child is not in custody and they don't get money. So they don't even report missing and runaway children in CPS.
Right,
again, fraud.
Wait, because they tell us.
I'm going with you on this, because they're forgetting that the kids that need this aren't getting it because they don't have a market value, unfortunately. Yes. They want the people, we talked to the investigator last night, they want the people, middle-class Americans that are just under that guideline, so they couldn't get a real attorney. But they run they work hard, the families are good, good families, 2 huge, houses, the whole nine. They just fell under that margin, so they couldn't afford an attorney, so the state had to give them one. Bang, we got your kid. And then CPS, the one that like my friend was at that TPR. The baby got thrown down the stairs by its parents, 8-month-old, cracked its skull. They gave it heroin out of a needle. The baby contracted hepatitis C. You know what they did? Continue reunification services. I did a fucking podcast. I did a podcast talking about this, and I don't have a fucking daughter anymore. Tell me, America, how is that fair? Because I spoke out against them.
And then to add to injury, all this money they're getting for the kids, and like you said, they get families who can't afford a lawyer. Then to add insult to injury, they want to go after the parents, the actual biological parents, for child support while that child is in custody. So now you've got less money to hire a lawyer, and even though they're getting all the CAPTA, ASFA, Title E4E, all that money for that child, they still want to go after you for child support. But then tell you that that's not your child. We're going to adopt it out. Well, honey, why are you taking money from me then? That's to make sure you can afford anything.
Right. That guy Scotty's right. Everybody, this starts all the way up. Like, all these people are getting these refund checks and all these stimulus checks. Go ahead, check the amount of children that have increased in your area. Not so much because the cases never go down, because it's like use it or lose it funding. This is what people don't understand either. So like each child they take, they know it's not going back. That's their fiscal budget for the following year. I think baseline amount is 134, and then it moves up from there, which we all know it's a huge amount of money by then. So those numbers don't change. The number of calls don't increase, but the number of kids, let me see. We got to get above our budget line. You know what? Instead of 20% of the kids, let's take 24, and boom, there we go. Off to the elections. Everybody gets a fucking surplus check. Think about it. That's our children. That's how you get these surplus checks. Okay. That's how these things come along.
Candace actually mentioned that 437,000 plus Americans' children were removed from their parents last year.
Federal reports hold on, y'all. So I found some statistics on here. Federal report states that 9 million children have been separated from their parents in the last 20 years. In December
3.5 million calls last year.
Huh?
That was 3.5 million calls. We did this on the thing last week. Just last year, 3.5 million calls they took.
In December of 2019, the Minnesota Department of Human Services reported that 16,488 children were in foster care.
That's just in Minnesota.
It says compared to white children based on children's populated estimates, American Indian children were 18.2 times more likely to experience care. Children identified as 2 or more races were 5.1 times more likely to experience care. That's 59.7% identified at least one race as African American, Black, and 56.2% identified at least one race as American Indian. African American children were over 2.9 times more likely to experience care. Let's see.
But that's only in Minnesota, though, Candace.
Well, you got, hey, like this. I did this equation on my podcast.
I'm talking
It's a
about,
child a
I
minute.
want to know what the number is all over the United States.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, this
Okay.
is what it is.
It's
This is what it
it's
is.
a child a minute. It's a child a minute in the United States is pulled into the custody of CPS. So do the math. 1
Oh
minute,
my
60
God.
I'm
minutes in an
actually,
hour.
look,
That's
I'm
60
actually
kids an
reading-
hour. That's 24 times 60 is what? 24 times 60 is how many? Alexa, 24 times 60.
this is what I'm reading right now. It says
Hold on. So there's
40.
1,000. So there's 1,400 kids a day taken in to CPS custody. That number divided by 50.
That's 1440 a day. Basically, 1,440
So now do that.
a
Now
day.
do 1440 times 365. There's your number.
Well,
That
And
is
that's just based on averages.
according to this, it says traumatization of the U.S. children have reached epidemic proportions. According to a 10-year study by the American Public Health Association, an alarming estimate that 37.4% of all children experience a child protective service investigation by the age of 18 years.
Mm-hmm.
That results in 27.7 million children investigated upon the current U.S. population census of approximately 75 million children under the age of 18, or 49 million parents being investigated, according to the latest 2019 United States Census Bureau findings. What's alarming is a staggering 84% of all child removals are not related to any physical harm to the child whatsoever, as reported to the U.S. Congress in the AFCARS report above. Furthermore, 61% of the placements were considered neglect, which is based purely on social worker discretion, which basically translates to the freedom to do whatever the caseworker wants. What they see as neglected is often just what poverty looks like. Instead of getting help to the parents get their children taken.
There's a removal from harm study that they did at the University of Baltimore that they say a young caseworker just out of college will frown and keep children longer in poverty or a little bit above their family because they think they're better than these people. There's this empowerment that they're given. This is what we talked about. Remember, like the empowerment, my family name.
But I want to tell you guys something real quick. I have a client that from last year where she mentioned
Hit the like button, guys. Hit the like. This is real shit. Hit the likes, please.
Thank you, Darren. That she mentioned to me when she first called me about her case. She said that she has a 2-bedroom. She has 3 children, and then most of the children are 2 males, 2 twins, basically twins. And the social worker told her that they can't stay there with her because she doesn't have enough room. Their mom. But they put the children with a foster family that only had 1 bedroom, and the children were sleeping on the floor in the living room. 1 bedroom. So they make up excuses, removes your children, and place the children in harm's way. There's something that Theyre put. He said, my children were pulled from me, and I had no idea until my son snuck home to tell me. Children sneaks home. If the children were abused in that home, why would they come back to the abuser?
Right.
Why would they want to come back to the abuser? So to me, they see children running away from foster homes, but they don't report it because they tell the foster family, report everything to the social worker.
Right.
And you don't tell them that they
Because they want the children to go back to their mom, right? The teenagers, they want them back in the group home.
Right.
Because they make money off of this shit. Guys,
And
Google If you don't believe me, Google the head of the CPS, whatever. I forgot that. I can't remember the freaking county.
Georgette, breathe, honey, breathe.
I know, but it
For
just
real.
makes
You're
me
gonna
angry.
we don't need
It
you hurt.
makes me angry.
I know.
Well, and
A
you're
social
so
worker
true,
was
though.
fired. A social worker was fired because he was part of the adoption agencies. He was the spokesperson or part of the adoption agencies. And I am going to make sure that I remind myself to give you guys the name tomorrow and the county.
Are
This
you
is
talking
why-
about the one who got caught with the pictures on his computer?
Yeah.
That was LA. He
LA?
was he was high up in CPS. I forget his title too, but they caught him with, we'll just say, the pictures on his computer, and he's very high up in CPS. Yes, I saw that when you sent
Yeah.
that.
So
Yeah.
you guys are this corrupt entity. We're not just talking out of our butthole. We're actually telling you guys the God honest truth.
And
You guys need to be. You guys cannot be silent anymore. Go ahead, Auntie Barbara.
You were so right when you said, when the child wants to come home, well, that proves that the child wants to come home. So what does CPS do? They limit our
Take 'em right back.
interaction. They brainwash the child. So then the child says, well, no, I like the foster home. I could stay here.
It
And
depends
then
on
the
the child's age.
CPS worker goes into court and tells the judge, the child doesn't want to go home. Child wants to stay
Yeah.
where child's
What
at.
is the child going to say? Come on, right? Because
Right,
this
free
thing's so
trips to
fucking scared. It had
Disneyland,
to
all
learn
this
on
stuff.
these things had to adapt and learn on their own. Think about how scary that has to be 3 fucking years old. You're taken away from the only thing you know, and they drop you in the middle of something. And now you have the fear again of rejection. So you have to sit there now and be like, well, I don't want to be left alone again, because these people destroy the security bond that
Yep.
a mother and father have for a child. Hence, when you get your child back, that's no longer your child, people.
Nope.
This is the unfortunate part. You would like to hope so, but so it takes 1.5 years scientifically proven for the heart to actually heal itself so that it has no more emotion for another person. So like when you
That is
break
true.
up or whatever, like after 1.5 years, you're like, oh, I'm great, like perfect. So it's proven, right? 15 months. 15 months, right? That's what TPR time is, right? 15 months.
Yes,
Think
it
about
is.
that. You have reset a child so that they no longer. And what's even funnier about this is how come they can come and rip her right out of my fucking house, but if I'm going to get her back, well, we got to slow her into this. Really?
Yeah,
We're going
right.
to slow someone in, and I'm not getting mine back. But my point is, like, this is so ass backwards. It's so wrong, and
Mhm.
all of the attention needs to be turned to these poor little kids that we're allowing grown-ass adults to play selfish, nasty games with because they're trying to achieve a higher position or make more money. But that's a hell of a fucking game to play with a 3-year-old.
Yeah.
Hell of a game.
With any age, with anyone.
Right,
With
but I'm
any
just saying because I said 3 because that's my child. So,
And like you
and
said
today is my
earlier-
so we have a 24-year-old and she never got taken by CPS, and today is her birthday. So happy birthday, Bree! And all she wanted for her birthday is her fucking sister back. You know what I mean? Like this is how much it affects a family. We haven't celebrated a holiday. We haven't done anything for 2 years, and we will not until Nina is home with us. Like we won't, because we're not a family unit. I mean, we are, but we're not. This is the thing. I have a discussion group that I have with some fathers and stuff, and we have a conglomeration of us that there are people that their children have actually passed away, and then there's the ones that CPS has taken, and it's you would think that it's kind of similar, but it's not, because the people that their children passed away, there's a closure. They have to accept the fact that they're every waking moment, all I think about is Nina. That's it. That's all I can. And I literally, and I can vouch for Candace because we have 24/7 going. And I know Miss G does it too, because all of us talk 24 hours a freaking day.
Mhm.
All we do is try and get these kids out of this. We need more help.
Yes.
We need more help. We're only this, we need something to break this. Nancy Schaefer put her ass on the line and died. Senator Nancy Schaefer, by coming out and exposing this stuff, they killed her.
Mhm.
And no one
They
since
blame it on the husband.
70-something,
Yeah,
right.
right.
No one since this 70-something-year-old woman has had the balls to stand up and say this is wrong. I'll tell you why. Because every fucking one of them have their hand in the cookie jar. That is the only way a
Right.
massive corruption like this could still maintain and mow forward. That's the only way.
There's also job security. You guys are missing that. Therapists are mandated reporters. Nurses are mandated reporters. Doctors are mandated reporters. So basically, all these people who are teachers are mandated reporters. So basically, all these mandated reporters, they have a hand to play in it too. It's called job security.
Yes.
Job
Let's
security.
talk about substance abuse counseling.
Mhm.
They want you to go to substance abuse counseling, but at the meantime, they're administering substances to your child.
To your child, exactly. That's why I get so angry.
What the fuck?
Oh my God, this
You
is
know?
sad.
And you're right. We need more people that are willing. I'm at the point I have nothing to lose. I have names. I have documentation. I have proof, and I am more than willing to name names and give that proof and that evidence to whoever wants it. And
I'll
we
put it
need
like
more
this.
people like that are willing to stand up, not just for our own children, because obviously that's our driving force and that's what introduced us to this world, and they are our priority. But then you get into this system, and I mean, I've talked to people from Alabama, Maine, Pennsylvania, everywhere, and it's the same story across this country. So that's why we need to get these stories out. Here we are from 3 different states, and we all have the basic same story. Somebody at the federal level has to listen to that and stop saying, oh, it's a state issue, for the state to tell you it's a county issue, for the county to say it's a state issue and give you the runway. This starts at the federal level. These laws, the funding is federal. These people need to stand up and start listening.
I sent.
Oh my God,
47.
I have to share this good news with everyone, guys.
Okay.
I can't reveal the client's name, but Mr. Davis, in a group text between me and the client, he let her know that she won.
Oh,
Good for
praise
her.
God.
Good.
Praise
And
Here's one.
right here, I
Here's
can't
one,
show
Mr.
you,
Davis. Get him.
show you the name, but I had to cut it so you guys don't see the name of the client.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
I don't
Get
know.
him, Mr. Davis.
Good job. Good
Even
job.
to all you people out there listening to us, if any of you are going to law school or know people are going to law school, tell them to specialize in juvenile dependency law. There's so few of those lawyers like Mr. Davis. We need more juvenile dependency lawyers.
Wait, Auntie Barb, the
Mhm.
rest of you guys. I cannot emphasize enough to you. I went on I go to hearings with Attorney Davis. Okay,
Mhm.
not every hearing, but some hearings. And I went to one in India twice, and every time Attorney Davis tells the client not to speak, the client doesn't listen to him. She speaks over the judge. She humiliated the minors' counsel in front of the judge.
Oh my goodness.
Attorney Davis came out and said, please, this is a different judge. Do not say a word. This is a different judge. You know, he made a deal inside with them, and they were going to lift the monitored visits, everything. He said, please, I'm begging you, do not say a word. She said, I've been silent for 12 months. I'm going to speak. I'm paying you. You follow me. You are working for me. In front of everybody. In the hallway of the courthouse. She went in there after the judge agreed to give her unmonitored visits.
Oh, fuck.
Overnight visits. Once she opened her mouth, humiliating the minors' counsel, the judge said, you know what? I take that back. You have issues. So, Mr. Davis, I swear on, as God is my witness, he felt humiliated. Because he gave him no credit as an attorney at all. So you guys have to understand the ones that lose their fucking cases are the ones that fucking don't listen to their attorney, because you guys come to us thinking you're high and mighty, that we work for you, but why in the fuck did you guys hire us? If you're not going to listen to your attorney, or you don't believe in your attorney's strategy because it doesn't work for you, then why are you hired us?
Right.
Yeah,
And
but I
blame
mean,
us when you lose your fucking case all by your fucking self.
Mhm.
Then I get a text message from her today, this morning, saying, I don't want what? I demand an answer. I want to visit my son. I want to see my son. But you fucked it up in court
You should have shut your mouth.
on Friday. So why are you? See, it breaks my fucking heart trying to understand how people can lose sight of what's important. Yet she wants to see her son, but guess what? You had that chance, but your mouth is what got you in the shit show hole that was dug for you to begin with. This other person said to her, ma'am, I wish I can have Attorney Davis here today. And I've been watching your shows, Attorney Davis, but I can't afford you. And guess what? The client that had a Davis in court said, I don't care. I am the boss. It's going to be done my way. My fucking way.
Well,
So
you're
you
paying
guys
big money.
tell me how in your mind, and how many times did Davis say to you guys, every strategy depending on the case?
Right.
Every strategy is different.
But what do you do, Georgette, when you have a public pretender that you think is guiding you the wrong path? Like, where do you go there? I get what you're saying. You're paying you're paying a lot of money for Mr. Davis. So you're very serious and committed to get his expertise. Like, you're an idiot if you think that you're better than him because he costs good money because he gets results. So that's just stupid to challenge him.
But
Like,
also another thing too, you get
but
what
then when
you pay for. Right. You get what you pay for. You know why? Because if you don't have enough in your retainer, right, the attorney needs to be able to go in full force. When you subpoena, when you do this, when you do that, when you file a declaration, when you file a motion, all this costs money. You know why? Because his paralegal has to work on the documents. He has to pay his paralegal. He has to pay the attorney that's traveling to your case. And guess what? All that comes out from your retainer. In fact, when you call the attorney, text the attorney a million times after the attorney already said to you what needs to be done, and you think your attorney's not doing his job or not filing the proper paperwork, how in the hell do you know that? How in the hell do you know that? You speculate on your own that he or she is not doing their job.
But that's a good question. How do you, Georgette, if you are trying to check for accountability?
They speculate. They
Mhm.
speculate. When Davis says he filed something, he filed it. Well, I don't think you did. And then they ruined the whole damn conversation by what they think happened. And then now Davis has to take his time off to read all this. And guess what? He's charging.
Charge him again. Yeah. But is there a way that you can check?
Why is my retainer drained? Your retainer is drained because of your actions. Because of you.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
Is there a way that you can check though? Like, what is the way that you can checks and balance as an attorney to make sure that you know, because I understand what we're saying, but when you get in like you're not trusting what they're doing, like we went and looked at our file. I put or a friend of mine that had his thing, he had like 27 pieces of evidence that he wanted submitted to the state. His attorney put 2 things in there. 2 things. And in his TPR, guess what he lacked?
What attorney?
Evidence.
The court-appointed attorney?
Court-appointed one.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So what can someone do to ensure that
I'm asking you a question, Darren. Is it the court-appointed attorney you're referring
Yes, the court-appointed attorney. Any attorney. If you want to check what's going on,
I'm not
to feel
talking
good
about
about it.
any attorney. I'm talking about the actual attorney that you hire with your own money to represent you in your case. I'm talking about those attorneys. I do not care about the court-appointed attorneys because they're not going to do their job. I know that.
That's what I'm saying. How do you make sure you check them so you can make sure that your ass
You
is
have
covered.
a text message, and if you have an email from the office, from the fucking attorney, from the paralegal, from the legal assistant, whatever, telling you the paperwork were filed, what else do you need? You want it stamped in blood? I mean,
Well,
you
this
guys
guy
have
was
to
told that his
understand.
shit was filed too,
You
and 2
guys have
pieces
to
of evidence were in there.
understand. You guys have to understand. We have people that we help. If we tell you we filed something, we filed it.
Right.
You
Bottom
go to
line,
the courthouse and
you're
look in your
not
file
gonna
folder.
do that.
You pay for and the public defender,
and look
because
at
you
your file.
pay somebody you trust to do their job. Whereas when you're appointed to do it, you've got a court-appointed attorney, you really trust them to do their job.
What I'm saying is, you go to the courthouse and open up your file and say, "Is all of my things in here that are supposed to be?"
Mm-hmm. But that's a court-appointed attorney, not a private attorney.
I'm
Right.
just saying, overall, I don't give a fuck if they pay for them or not. What I'm saying is, this is your child. You will fight and do whatever you have to do. Like, I understand. Don't tell the attorney like Davis or whatever that they're doing wrong or whatever. They're, but if the court-appointed attorney isn't doing you right, do what you got. So how do you keep checks and balances on these things? Because you kids, everything. Like, my face was in my shit the whole time. I couldn't get him to do the things that I found out because I read Davis's book and I talked to Georgette, and I knew these things because I got the answers from other people because I didn't trust him. He wouldn't do this stuff, so that was for me.
I want to, first of all, in order for you to do checks and balances on your attorney, your court-appointed attorney, which I don't see any use for them, all you can do is email them. Don't try to call them. Email them. Hey,
right. So
have you filed the 388 petition? Hey, Mr.
Mhm.
Scumbag, did you file the evidence into court? Hey, Scumbag, did you subpoena the people that needs to be in the trial?
Because then you can use that as a bad thing for an appeal, right? Like misrepresentation. What is that?
I don't know.
Assistance to the council.
Representation with court-appointed attorneys because they mainly work for the state. I don't know. I don't know when it comes to them. That's a good question, and I would ask Davis that on the show tonight when I do it with him.
You can file it, but the judge has to approve it.
It's Theyre. So, like, there's judicial canons that all attorneys have to go by.
Yeah, I know. There's a standard.
like
It goes by the
judges do.
Lisbon standard. It's a Lisbon standard or something like that. They got to have 2 of the 5 or.
Well, it's called judicial canon. Just like the judges have them, the lawyers have them as well.
Right, but the standard that the appellate courts go by, I forget the name of it, Litson or Strickland, right? Strickland standard, I believe. And there's 5 prongs or something.
I don't know why I got a message from Cassandra. She said she wrote a comment and I can't see her comment.
Oh, speaking of that, Mary Link. Mary Link right here. Do you see what this says? Read this.
My children were.
She didn't know where for 7 days. She couldn't find her kids. 7 days. Isn't it by law 72 hours?
Yep, 72 hours.
Kind of like my situation.
Not the county I live in. There's
lawyers
CPS court once a week for 4 hours?
But I'm pretty sure that's like the standard. They have 72 hours, right?
That's what the law says.
And it's supposed to not even be like weekends and shit aren't even supposed to count, right?
I don't know. I think
it's supposed to be 72 hours from. So
it's
Mary Lynn,
72 hours altogether.
No one's on the show is lawyers. So what we're telling you is what we've researched, what we know, and whatever. But we're definitely not advising anybody. We're not, like the Vincent Davis. This is his thing. If he's on the show, we're discussing what's worked and what hasn't worked. So please don't take what we research it yourself. Make sure, don't make any decisions based on our comments, please, because we don't want to be responsible. I mean, I'm just saying this, throwing it out. And Mr. Davis is on the show. You better listen to what the hell he has to say. And you better do what he has to do. Anything that we talk about, guys, make sure you do your research too. We're not going to give you misinformation, but check it for yourself because, like I said, we're not attorneys, so we're not giving you guys law as as this
we're
procedure.
discussing our
But Mary Lynn, Definitely
Hey,
talk to your attorney and tell them about that.
Hey, T. Walker, I know you said that you called in. If you called in, please tell them to ask for Miss G, and then they will give me the information. And if you give them your cell number, I will text you from my cell number, and I will, to make sure that you're available for my call, and I'll be able to call you. So call the office, call the 888 number, and just ask for Miss G. And also Cassandra, she says, "Love you guys, love you too, Cassandra." We don't know what I just got your text message. We don't know what your comment is, baby. For some reason, we're not getting any comments from Facebook. For some reason, we're having technical problems here. But
Mhm.
go ahead and
Yeah,
let it.
because she said something about Facebook, right? Grace did.
Yeah, something is not right with Facebook. We're not getting any comments from Facebook. We can't see any comments from Facebook. But Cassandra, if you can write your comment on YouTube, that would be great, honey. Flake? What is this?
Oh, George.
Okay, so here I give them the information. Okay, good. I'm so glad you did. So I will be able to text you after the show. But I want to make a point with you guys. Or say something, share something with you guys. I didn't sleep in all night, by the way, just so you guys know.
You didn't, or you did?
No, I literally didn't sleep. I sat on my couch all night. Like I literally feel like I'm a bat sometimes. I'm a night person. I stay up all night.
But you're also a day person, and that's a problem.
Well, I can function. If I don't sleep, I can function. But sometimes I am so, like, my brain is a little bit not as fast as it usually is.
But it's still good.
Yeah. But anyways, the point I want to make to you guys is this. If you hire an attorney, a private attorney, please listen to your attorney. Even if his strategy or her strategies doesn't work, listen to your attorney. Now, I understand if the chemistry doesn't match, I get that. Then ask the office to give you a different attorney. Always do that. Again, for court-appointed attorneys, I have no trust for them at all. Zero trust. And I don't care what county, what state, I don't care. I mean, if Mr. Davis is with me on the show right now, he will disagree with me. He will say, not all attorneys are bad. Not all court-appointed attorneys are bad. But I don't believe that, because every court-appointed attorney have an agenda. If they want to work for their people, they would never tell their clients to plead guilty, especially if they see evidence, especially if they see it. So you have to be a dumb attorney to see evidence from the beginning of the case. I'm not talking about the end of the case. I'm talking about the beginning of the case and do nothing about it. You had the chance to help that client. Instead of you saying the client is guilty, the client is proving to you she or he are not guilty. But you tend to stand with the social workers. So to me, you're an idiot. And the definition of stupid is seeing the truth, hearing the truth, but you still believe a lie. That is the definition of stupid. You believe a lie. You have to be stupid to believe a lie. When you see the truth, that is stupidity. So I don't care about your Louis Vuitton belt or your Louis Vuitton bag or your Tesla car that you bought with the blood of all the children that you stole from parents. I don't care about all that shit.
Yeah.
Because guess what? When we all die, all of us, we all have a time on earth and we all face our creator. Your God is not going to tell you you're about your Louis Vuitton bag or your Louis Vuitton purse or your Tesla that you just bought. You are going to be judged according to the deeds you've done. According to your doing on earth. What have you done to make a difference? So shame on you, court-appointed attorneys. Shame on you, county, and shame on you, state. Shame on you, government, period, for doing what you are doing against the American people. The people, the same people that pay your salary, you sons of idiots. The same
Whew.
people that pay your salary are the same people you're fucking over. So who are you again? You are judging other countries. You're taking sending billions of dollars to Ukraine and not paying attention to your own fucking people.
Yes.
Yes,
Mhm.
ma'am.
And your children.
Absolutely.
Your children. The future. You're fucking ruining the fucking future of America.
Preach
Look
it, Miss G.
at
Preach it.
Go to Japan, go to China. They're family, 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 family. Family.
Mhm.
Go to the Middle East, family. Family, mothers, fathers, family. Even if the father is not with the mother, still the kids are with the mother. That's family. Family. You're opening the borders for drugs, for the cartels to come in. Why? Why are you introducing drugs to America? You keep bringing them in. Why? Why? The
That's our
cartels
system.
murdered a family in the valley, killed everybody, including an infant and a mother, a young mother. Why? Why are we doing this? Why are you saying that the borders are closed and they're not closed? Why? Why are you lying to the American people? Why? And we see you bited on TV. You look like an idiot. And you sound like an idiot. I am ashamed to say you're my president.
He
That's
is not my president.
how screwed up you are. And Camilla, every time she speaks, what is
No.
that about? And she shakes when she laughs. That's not funny. This shit ain't funny because no Americans are laughing.
No.
We're looking at you like, what the hell are you?
Yep.
You can freaking be a vice president. You are the shit of the earth. Shit of
Lie about his kids, everything. Touches other
the
ones.
earth is real.
Fucking disgusting. Look at this.
All I'm
You know,
saying-
let me tell you something right here.
Ooh.
This says it all. I can't really do it. This upside down American flag. It disgusts me to actually hold this. I do not, ever since this happened to me, I
Mhm.
refuse to fly a flag upside down because an upside down flag means that we are in distress as a country. And as long as our government is funding this kidnapping and ruining our future, we are under duress. And I'll tell you what, there's no soldier that is wearing that fucking uniform or that flag that is fighting for these pedophiles and these government assholes to steal our kids. So you people in the service, you have an obligation to help protect the American people. Join us with this fight. You're not shedding your blood overseas and all this stuff so that your kid can be kidnapped away while you're fighting at war. Because no one is safe with these fucking monsters. And the more
I
they
will
get,
have to.
the more they're powerful, the more they're building, the more they're creating. They're not stopping, so we can't either.
I'll have to agree
Humanity.
with
This is
Darren.
about fucking humanity.
I will have to agree with Darren. Me being a veteran of the United States military, my child literally has been abducted by CPS, literally has been trafficked by CPS. And I'm going to tell you, I've said it to so many people. It is sad. It's disgusting to know that here it is. I signed my life away at the age of 18 years old to fight for our country, and my own fucking country turned their motherfucking back against me. That is sad. That is disgusting.
Yeah, it is. That is
Look
disgusting.
at this. Check this. Let me see. It's fucking disgusting. Where is this? See this right here? This is. I don't know. Oh shit. I don't know.
I can't see that.
This is. I know you can't fucking whatever. There we go. See that?
Yeah.
That's about 6 hours before they came and took her.
Can
were
you show
building the
that
fence.
again? Can you show that again, Darren?
Yeah, that was 6 hours, and we had no idea they were coming for her. I got the green screen thing on, so it's kind of fucked with it. But 6 hours. There's the neglected little girl, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's a neglected little fucking kid. Fuck you and damn your families, caseworkers.
Yeah,
Death to all of you. This is fucking ridiculous because you've killed my family.
They did.
If God doesn't come down to this earth and strike you down, may someone else. That's all I'm going to say about that.
They kill everybody's family, unfortunately, and the state and the government allows them to do so. And I love it when not love it in a good way. I'm being sarcastic. When the judge says in court, in CPS court, I tend to go along with the social worker's recommendation. Yeah. And I just look at and hear them. I fucking hear them. I'm like, what the fuck did he just? I just cannot get over that.
Without any facts. The judge doesn't say, where's the facts? Where's the proof?
Oh my God, how?
The Judge Sutton, right here in Maine, TPR'd us. I know, whatever. This is my decision. TPR'd us. I had been on an alleged incident for 2 fucking years. 2 years. Miraculously, after the TPR, oh, Darren, come in for a jury selection. I get there, the state dismisses all my fucking charges.
Exactly.
And,
what is it? 86%?
It's Judge Sutton, and it was Judge Sutton that had to read this, and she was so sweet that she asked if she could recuse herself. I said, no, ma'am. You fucking lied on your goddamn answer. You said that you found me guilty of all of the charges that the state had said I committed. And then you come in here and you want to get away. You want to walk away because shame on you, you bitch. You know you were wrong.
Darren,
you fucking lied. And no, it's just, that's it.
Darren,
they're breaking the laws. It's too much.
You. Darren, I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. Okay. You and your wife are dear to my heart. But don't say God and then the damn after it. Okay? Let's right. I don't want to hear that. Honestly, anything that God is good, and I don't want anything like that.
I love God. I love that, man.
Don't say God and then say damn after it. Do not say that, because I know you're upset. I get it. But you guys have to understand this is not God's doing, and this is demonic actions of people intentionally done. And Darren is right. He's very passionate about this. He's upset about this because they took a perfect daughter, a perfect child, a happy child. You guys think I don't know Darren and his family and his mom. I mean, his wife. I do know them. Darren and I and Mary used to spend hours on FaceTime and numerous hours of the day and night until all hours of the morning, by the way. This same man that makes fun of me and my coffee, well, guess what? He doesn't sleep either. So, but now he doesn't sleep at all because of his daughter. So Mary is a great mom. He's a great father. The child was happy. The child was nourished. All CPS went on is not even drugs. It's not even anything else. All they went on was allegations. Allegations. That's it.
Right. And to Darren's point, it's something like 86% of all CPS cases are closed out with no findings of any wrongdoing, no criminal charges, nothing against the families at all. But so many times these cases are closed out after the child has been adopted with no findings. Could you imagine being a doctor and getting it wrong 86% of the time? A cop getting it 86%. I mean, any job, getting your job wrong. I mean, let's face it, if you got your job right 86% of the time, they would laugh you out of your job because that's such a low number to get it right. But it's such a high number to get it wrong. And they do it. And this is like the issue people need to understand. In CPS court, you have no constitutional rights. You have no right to due process. You have no right to defend yourself. You have no right to do anything but sit there and have them say horrible things about you. And you're not allowed to defend yourself, and then sit there and watch them steal your child. And when it's all said and done, you're left no charges, no. I mean, it's like almost like put me in prison. Then at least I'd have something to do during the day. I'd sit around here and look at her stuff.
But you know what's so sad also, Barbara and Darren? What's sad and Candace? What's sad also is when the social workers laugh at the parent.
Right.
High five in the hallway.
They
Have lunch
laugh
with
at
the
the
kid.
Lady
parent,
son of a-
fun at the parent because the parent cries or the parent is hysterical. Then they point at the parent and say, "You're crazy. You need help. You need medication." But you mother Fs are the reason why the parent is hysterical. How can you take a child from the mother who nourished that child, who took care of that child, and then act like the mother should not react? Something is wrong with you guys. And then in court, the judge says, if the mother didn't react, if the mother kept her composure, then the judge says, well, the mother didn't react, then there's something wrong with this.
Yeah.
She cried
Crazy.
because she's a basket case.
She's not crying.
Yeah.
She's not hysterical. Why? The mother doesn't care. But then damned if you do and damned if you don't.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
And not only
Because
the reason
because
they don't
I have an
press
anger
court-
problem.
Yeah.
What I have is a missing child.
Right, you have a daddy's heart
What do
is
you
what
want?
you have.
Well, you can
Right,
have
and
for
people-
protectors, but the good dads, that is. Yeah.
They don't want, first of all, there's no evidence against these families, so they can't press charges. But even if they could go into another court and with all these lies and stuff, you go before a jury, CPS is going to get laughed out of the court. They want to keep their little secret court all neatly tied up. That's why we don't get jury trials in CPS court. That's why
Y'all know that
I
you're
mean,
actually,
our court won't even let CASA in, and CASA's this whole other issue, but they won't even let CASA in because they don't want their dirty little secret out.
do you all
And
know that
nobody
you're
understands this outside of having dealt with CPS.
Right.
So that's why we have to do these shows and stuff and get the word out to let people know CPS is the criminal. CPS is killing kids, kidnapping kids, selling children. If a 13-year-old child can read one line in ASFA and say they're stealing kids, why
Right.
can't other adults see that? And I tell people, don't take my word for it. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a politician. I don't know all the legal speak and all that. So by all means, research yourself. Here's the name of the law. Go look it up for yourself.
We
And
need
people
to,
are shocked
we
what they
need
find out.
to- we need to literally abolish the law.
Yes.
We
Damn
need
right
to
we do.
abolish the law. And the thing is, Candace, is there anything you want to say on that to the people?
yes, ma'am. What I was actually fixing to say is when it comes to the whole CPS DHR situation, most importantly, know your rights. Know your rights. Know what you're allowed to do. Know what you're not allowed to do. And I reiterate with Darren when he says there is plenty of places you can go to. Okay, plenty of places. There's organizations. I can tell you right now, the investigator that he was speaking about earlier, his name is John Artsdale. He is actually starting up a nonprofit organization. I'm actually incorporated with that. I'm on the board of it, and it is particularly for helping families negotiate the court systems for the ones who can't hire an attorney. We'll actually have some attorneys and paralegals come in and actually show you what to do. There's websites you can go on. There's Telegram. I'm gonna tell y'all right now, Telegram is a wonderful, wonderful tool. If y'all don't have Telegram, I'm telling you right now, you might want to get it. Y'all can look me up and I will point you right direction. That's where I've gotten a lot of like my laws and stuff. That's where I've honestly, like I said, told you, Miss, I'm self-studied. It's because I've had to become my own personal attorney because I'm not only battling just a family case, but I'm also battling a criminal case on top of that. Both cases are dealing with abduction. Both cases are dealing with trafficking. So, and not having somebody who wants to actually stand up and
wait, Candace, I forgot to mention something real quick. You guys understand that once you're in a child abuse and neglect case with CPS, they actually put you on a state CACI list immediately without even due process before you are proven guilty even?
They actually they check your credit. I don't know if y'all know that, but they check your credit.
They do.
I tell everybody, look, write out a breach of contract. There's 3 trespasses that they do. One is on your credit because automatically they're checking your credit. But 2, property, and then 3, kidnapping.
Yeah. You guys be very, very careful with that because we have a client that hired us to clear her record, and that was from 25 years ago. I'm sorry, I take it back. 15 years ago. 15 years ago. So she didn't even know. And guess what? They didn't even take her kids.
Yeah. But
She
there's
hired an attorney, lawyered up, got her kids back immediately after 1 week of them being in CPS custody. So, therefore, why is she on the list as abuser, child abuser? And then how? Think about it.
Do you know that can report? That is not for the parents. That is when they do that, they are literally saying that you're an employee, like a child care. That is not for us at
Exactly.
all,
Uh-huh.
at all.
You see,
And
you
I'm
guys hear her. She's right. She's very right. She's very
and
right.
there's one more thing that I do want to mention. I know a lot of parents, especially that, I've talked to a lot of parents because I am a parent advocate here in the state of Alabama. I have parents all over the United States that reach out to me. But do you know that a lot of parents aren't getting the home studies? And you know why? Because they are getting paid $2,500 for every home study that they turn down. I'm going to tell y'all right now, go to the IRS web, download a 3949A. Start getting in their pocket.
What was that
Get in
again?
their pocket. A 3949A.
A is an apple?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Absolutely. I've there's a whole thing that I've been passing around, instructing individuals to do. If you give me 1 minute, I'll pull it up. Let's see where you go. Oh, here we go. It's like this. Fax or snail mail to the appropriate address a properly filed IRS form 4506A on that the police department, CPS, DA, DMV, court, all other alphabet agencies, and etc. Then, with the response from the IRS is, we have no record of this organization being tax exempt. Filed and mailed the IRS form 3949A, 13909, 8300, and a 211 with a copy of that response. Always look for the most current form and instructions. One may also wish to use the SF95 tort claim form and SF56S. Then use the administrative due process of law to file a claim by recording with your county recorder. Find their website and read the instructions of the proper format, including the margins in the U.S. Federal Court of Claims in the Washington, D.C. Notice, government offices are tax exempt. Therefore, not tax exempt equals not government office/officers, equals no jurisdiction to do anything that any one of them are doing at all. Hit the pocket. That's where y'all want to go. As soon as we can hit the Treasury up with all this, it's going to tear it down.
We can't, guys, we cannot give instructions, but we can share the information that you get, where you get the information from. Get it? You can say, I read this on whatever website. Get it?
Okay. Yes,
Okay.
ma'am. Well, I apologize.
No, it's okay. I know you didn't know, but I'm just letting you guys know we cannot give advice if we're not attorneys. Okay. But we can share, like Attorney Davis said, we can share information, and we have to know where we're getting that information from. So when I shared something with you guys earlier, I said it's from, ABC News, it's all over YouTube. Search it. You'll find it.
I'll let you know where that information comes from directly. That is going to be propeace.com.
Okay, go ahead and write it. Go ahead and write it in the private chat, and I will go ahead and paste it for everyone to go look at it. Okay?
Okay.
So that way they understand where we're getting this from. And also, there's a comment that was made earlier about Attorney Gloria Elwright. I have a lot of people that contacted her about their CPS case and the corruption. She did not help them. She didn't even return their call. One person she did contact back, and she literally told that person, you're guilty. If CPS is involved, you're guilty. So that person called me in tears, and she was so destroyed by that comment that she made. And she said, I would never, ever, ever, ever look at her the same way I used to.
Mm-hmm.
Look at her as a savior for women, especially abused women. But if you notice, Gloria takes a lot of high profile cases, meaning
Yeah.
she wants to be on TV. She wants to be the spotlight.
Yes.
And that's basically what she's focused on. You know, if a woman is raped and then there's a TV news on that woman, she will take the case.
Well, the not only the media, but what is it, a 33 and a third that she gets from their settlement? Yeah.
She gets, I think, 33 and a third. You're right. She gets 33 and a third from the settlement. So basically, she wants the
Plus all the
spotlight.
media.
Yeah, she wants a spotlight. So I hate to tell you this, Lindley, but
If you want a spotlight, make your own YouTube. Make your
I don't
own
know who Attorney
podcast.
Crumpa is. Who's Attorney Crumpa? I don't know who is that
I don't
is.
know who that was.
Compton, maybe?
Who?
Is
Crump?
it Compton?
Yeah, but who is that?
I don't know. I've heard here and there. I don't know who he is particular myself. I
Yeah.
have heard that name, just like Morgan and Morgan. I've heard that name as well.
Right. And just hold on. Is that the propeace.com?
Yes, ma'am.
Where are they getting their information from, Candace?
To be honest, I can find out. I've got the website pulled up right now.
Yeah, because there's a lot of there's a lot of information out there that's misinformation, and that's why we need to give the exact information to the people. Meaning, we cannot just say somebody told me, because there's me, for example, I had to research that lady, that the social worker that's not a social worker anymore. I had to make sure she's legit. I asked a lot of questions. I had to see documents. I had to see proof of everything she's saying to be able to speak about it. If I'm just going by words from I heard or something I read from a person, it doesn't necessarily mean it's true.
It says, let's see. Hold on. Be honest, I'm not quite sure. I mean, they've got a whole website. I mean, all kinds of information on it.
Yeah.
Really
Yeah,
The lawyer that person was talking about is Benjamin Crump. He handled the
George Floyd.
Yeah. That's who he's talking about, I'm assuming,
well,
anyhow.
That's a good question. I don't know anything about that attorney, but what I have noticed, a lot of attorneys that want to be on the spotlight, they take celebrity cases, especially cases like George Floyd's case, for example. It was all over the world. People were outside protesting for him. So that's what I wanted for DPSS CPS and DCFS. I wanted the whole United States to go out there and protest for the American children are being stolen. But that's how we were being heard, because we all got together and protested for this man. So there's certain attorneys that when they see the rally, they see all over America protesting for this one cause, they will answer because they want to be on the spotlight. So I have no faith in these types of attorneys.
From what it says on the page particularly says, take notice, this is not a legal or a lawful advice, and it is not anti-government. However, it is anti-tyranny and anti-fraud of agents, agencies evading taxes and or impersonating government officers to trespass upon our unalienable, unprescribable, unviolable, inherited natural God-given rights when born as people, aka man and woman. Proceed at your own risk. All rights claimed and retained without prejudice, without recourse. It says areas of practice is common law, maxims law, canon law, contract law, constitution, sovereignty without sovereign citizens. And then it says my approach, proamerica.com, specializes in bringing laws showing one's God-given natural rights. I'm dedicated to bringing you comprehension of how to stand squarely on your square and to help those with eyes to see, ears to hear, and minds to comprehend what actions one may take on one's own behalf. You are recommended to you comprehend the choices you are making and feel empowered to make them based upon knowing who you are and what you are not.
Right.
I mean, this is one of the websites that I personally share with individuals. Personally, I encourage everybody to go look at.
Oh my goodness. That's a lot of information right there, girl.
There's a lot of information in this website. Miss G, if you all need the resources that I have, like Darren says,
see, they do have resource links on their website, so they do tell you where they get the information from.
Got you.
It's under resource links.
Okay.
Yeah, so they do see how they cite where they get their information from.
And it's Heather Maharder is a psychologist, BCPMB, massage therapist, ordained minister, private attorney general, and ambassador extraordinary and plenipotentiary to a private foreign nation. So,
Darren, did you find
Yes,
out
ma'am.
the information that you were looking for, baby?
Yeah, I sent it a while ago. He's from New York. That's what you were talking about, right? That lawyer, Klein?
Is that the one you were talking about earlier?
Yeah, the one that has that the class action suit for this seizure stuff, stealing the
I'm going
kids.
to tell y'all, on the class actions, I do not suggest anybody do a class action.
You can't do
Not
a
use
class
an
action.
attorney.
You can't do it with CPS cases. You can't. Because
That's
every
what
case
I'm
is different. Every case is
Yeah.
different.
And
You
so
know,
my understanding is if a class action suit that you're a part of fails, you give up the right to sue. So that's why, like you said, CPS cases are so different. A class action would be very impossible, I would think.
That's what I was saying, Miss G. I was saying I would not suggest doing a class action. If you're going to do one, I would do a lawsuit on your own. One, because these attorneys that are doing class actions, all they're doing, they're quote unquote winning these cases, but yet they're turning around taking all this money that possibly could go to the families and then sticking it into their pocket and then turn around and just doing it all over again.
This is I have somebody that just texted me. She said that one attorney told her that she can do a class action suit with the department, meaning all the people that were wronged and removed their children from them. But Attorney Davis, I asked him that on one of the shows, and he said every case is different. A class action suit is only for example, wrongful termination, right? Or sexual harassment in the workplace. And other employees came out and said it happened. That they can do that, but not when it comes to state and county cases, because your case is different than Joe Smith's case, and different than Alan's case, and different than Barbara's case, and different than Darren's case. So it's all different.
Yeah.
But so this guy's thing is, what is he getting away with it because it's all based on like search and seizure or like one specific piece of law? Is that how they are kind of doing it?
Every state is different, though. Every state is different. Every state is different. Every county is different. That's why I told you guys they set up their own rules in place to violate everybody's rights, to make the cases so complicated and chaotic. They actually create chaos.
Yeah.
And then point the finger at you for reacting to their chaos. That is a sociopathic, narcissistic behavior. The narcissist will always blame the victim for reacting. But what the courts don't see is that narcissist is creating the chaos to push the victim's buttons, keep pushing to get the victim to react. And then they say the victim is angry. The victim needs anger management. The victim is guilty. No, because there's no way a mother will see her child being stripped from her and not cry, not react. And I hate when the social workers laugh at the mother, call the mother crazy, but then when the mother doesn't react because the mother is told to stay calm, and if she reacts, they're gonna, she's never gonna see her baby again. And then the judge says, on the other hand, when the mother is being cross-examined, is the mother didn't react. The mother didn't cry, so that means the mother doesn't care about her child. That's bullshit. I think
Yep.
Cassandra and I were talking about Catch 2022 or 22.
Yeah, catch 22.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Catch 22. It's like damned if you
Damned
do,
if you do, damned if you don't.
Exactly. Cassandra and I were just
Yeah,
talking about that last night.
it's
It's
just
sad.
all a
It's
joke.
very sad. They traumatize parents. They traumatize parents. So that's why I said lawyer up, lawyer up, lawyer up. Lawyer
And then you still have the issue too at hand of these definitions, which I think that's a whole. We could probably do a whole nother thing. Imminent danger, like it said in that book.
Black
What's
File
neglect?
Dictionary.
What's abuse? What are all of these things? Because everyone, you talk to all these different people, they all have different. My imminent danger was so bad they waited 8 or 9 days to come. So that's how it was so dangerous that they'll just wait through a long weekend and everything else. So we need to get these things set, because this judge says yellow is imminent danger, but this judge says red. So there's no, and like you said, the caseworker just decides because she gets a hair across her ass that your kid's in imminent danger, and just has to go in and write a statement saying that they don't trust you, and that's it. They're rubber stamping. There's no accountability. Half these judges are so damn scared to go against them or to make a ruling on the case itself that they don't do it, and that's why they allow them to do this. This just the system has to be torn down. Period.
Yeah.
Missy, I have a question for you. Maybe you can kind of help me understand. It particularly has to deal with my situation in particular. So while I was arrested and in jail, DHR had come into the home of where my daughter was at. Now, where she was at, the people who had her was in the process of becoming foster parents. Okay, so when DHR come into their home, they was doing a home inspection. There was never a DHR CPS call or anything like that. However, what they did is instead of notifying me immediately because they knew exactly where I was at, they waited 8 days to let me know, hey, we got custody of your child. Therefore, I missed the shelter care hearing. I couldn't hire an attorney. I couldn't speak to the judge. And so, all that was missed. But then turned around, they didn't even remove my child from the home of where she was at. They actually kept her in the same exact home. My understanding is when CPS DHR comes into the home, they're supposed to remove that child if that child was in imminent danger. So how is it that CPS DHR could come in and automatically, quote unquote, on paper, make it look like something that is not? Would you have an input on that maybe, or?
You were cutting in and out, so I can hear pieces here and there. But Darren, do you understand what she said? Because her connection is going in and out.
Yeah, I mean, I do. As it's like,
what's the question?
What's the question? How the hell did they? How did they? Well, the answer is no. They were wrong. Like due process all the way across. You were incarcerated. They kept, and if I remember right, Candace, didn't you have
danger is bodily harm. It's like burning the child with cigarettes or putting
right.
the
So
child
essentially, her kid got taken because
the child. I mean, that's all of that
right.
is danger.
So they came and took her child
because they didn't take my child.
She was incarcerated. No, she didn't take, but they came for whatever.
No,
but because she was incarcerated.
No, listen.
But she had already planned, like, if something happens, this is going to be in place. Like, she had a safety plan of her own drawn up, signed, dated, notarized, kissed by God, whatever. Like this thing was foolproof, and they still came and screwed with her family life. And then these people steal her kid. It's crazy.
No.
Okay, so in my situation, Missy, where my daughter was at, they were in the process of becoming foster parents. Okay.
Okay, and okay.
DHR, what they did, even though I was in jail, they took literally 8 days to contact me to let me know that they had custody of my child. So therefore, I missed the shelter care hearing because they improperly notified me. I wasn't able to hire an attorney, so I didn't have an attorney at this shelter care hearing, and I couldn't even let the judge know what was going on with my situation because I was, again, improperly notified. What they did is, on paper, they made it look like they moved my child out of my custody, but where my daughter was at, they were in the process of becoming foster parents. Okay. So DHR comes into the home to do a home inspection. They question about me, where I'm at. They never remove my child from the home whatsoever. They leave her there, but on paper, they take my child out of the custody. There was no DHR report. There was no police report. There was no removal of the child, no search warrant or anything like that. And I
Again.
actually had a legal binding document that was signed and notarized. It was handwritten on top of that, hand signed, and it was notarized with the stamp.
And the legal binding document states
that where my daughter, that the people who were in the process of getting their foster parents, their mother was the one that I had given physical custody to of my child in case something was to happen. It was basically, it was a safety net. I had already had a plan in place for my child had something was to happen.
right.
Because that was for you in
Okay,
the
let me
military,
answer-
right?
let me
If something
answer
went
that.
down,
Let me answer
right?
that. Let me answer that. First of all, CPS can take custody from anyone because the state is higher courts than a legal binding document from family court or notary. The state has the upper hand. When the state takes over, they have jurisdiction of that child. They don't care who has what or what legal documents you have. Okay. Therefore, the attorney, whoever was handling your case from day one, should have give the social workers 25 names of family members or more all over the United States, or even
That's the
family
thing.
friends, to place the child with. That's Mr. Davis. This is not coming from me, guys. This is coming from Attorney Davis himself. That social worker has to do her due diligence to choose one. This is where the trial comes in. So basically your attorney, if you lose, your attorney will do the trial. Then he says, well, here is this document was sent to the social worker, and the social worker was supposed to, call
Well,
these
that's the
people.
thing.
Why isn't the social worker calling these people? Why
But
didn't one person was notified?
Miss
Two
B,
was
that's the thing. I didn't have an attorney. I was actually incarcerated. The whole kidnapping, trafficking situation, I was illegally kidnapped, trafficked, the whole nine, made it dependent on the state. Literally, I have black and white paperwork, orders, and everything that literally states it. What DHR did is they took custody of my child, but they left her in the same exact home she was already in. They never took her out of the home, period. Like never. Like they never moved her. And I thought that when DHR comes in, CPS, if there's a call, if there's a situation where there's imminent danger, they're supposed to remove the child. They never
But you were
removed
in
her.
imminent danger, right?
No, I wasn't in it. Well, I mean, technically, yes, I was, but I had already had something in place. The living,
Right.
breathing woman should have that was my child. I'm living, I'm breathing. I had something in place that should have stood above the judge himself.
Well, that's what I think Georgette was just saying. When imminent danger comes through, it's like all hands are off, right? Like the judge comes out and says,
But it was the state that had done it.
What cards are out there? We got this. This kid is in danger.
That's how they take children, by lying. They're saying they're imminent danger. That's how the social worker gets the judge to sign on the court order to remove the child, is because she or he tells the child the kids are in imminent danger.
But that's the thing. They didn't remove my child. They kept my
They just took your rights to that child away, basically.
Yeah, I mean, they left her where I had put.
Stripped you of your rights.
Yeah, but there was no reason for it whatsoever. I had already had something in line, in plan. Okay, the people who have my
Stole
child,
your kid, man. They just stole your kid.
yeah, they did. They literally did. And what's so crazy is Etowah County. Okay, so I'm in Chambers County. My daughter is in Calhoun County. There's no reason whatsoever for Etowah County to ever stick their hands into my private family affairs. They were dealing with Calhoun County DHR. That for some reason, Etowah County says, "Oh, I want this child. I want this money." And see,
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because the thing is, it's the same state. I mean, we have cases where Riverside goes to LA, social workers in Riverside goes to LA and, do an investigation.
But they were different.
We're talking about the state here, guys.
Yes, I realize you're talking about the state, but the foster parents. Hold on. But here's the thing: the foster parents was becoming foster parents for Calhoun County, where they were already at. They were already dealing with DHR itself because they were becoming foster parents. They were in the next step. DHR was coming out to do a home inspection.
Okay, guys. Hold on, Candace. Mr. Davis wrote this. You can do a class action, but it has to be one specific policy, like detaining without a warrant. So it has to be one specific policy. It can't be all over the place. It has to be one specific policy. Okay? So this is about the class action suit. Attorney Davis is watching. He's watching everything.
So how many days when they give that imminent order? How long does that stay in effect?
And then
Do we know that?
I don't know. Like
okay, so when the judge when they go in and they get the order to come take your kid, in the cases that I'm aware of, in fact, it was 8 days. Does that order go? There's got to be a time frame, right?
Look, they take her. Okay, so they come to the home that it was December the 5th, 2019 at 8:15 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
December the 6th, 2019 at 3 p.m. is when they do this shelter care hearing. From my understanding, they have to give you a 24-hour advance before they do any
unless
hearing.
It's an imminent danger situation.
Well,
imminent,
still.
Imminent rules out notification imminent. If they are worried, that'll be that. But my question is this.
They can pick up the child, but they still have to look.
When they issue that order, if they wait a week or 2 weeks, is it still in effect? I think that's a question for Mr. Davis too. Like,
because doesn't that negate?
Because I know multiple people that they had these imminent danger situations, and it was a week, 2 weeks, 13 days.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of bullshit, because you're sitting there thinking everything's okay, and then bam, they come and they take your kid out of nowhere. I mean, like they can't just come have a free pass to come and take your child whenever they want. If imminent danger means that there's bodily harm, because imminent danger and that order means is like, listen, this can't wait. This can't wait to do the 24-hour thing, like you're saying, Candace. This can't wait to follow any of the other rules.
Well,
this child, if I don't move right this second, is going to die or be harmed immediately.
Listen, DHR can come in and they can remove the child, period. Okay? They have to have 72 hours. Within that 72 hours hearing, that's when they have that hearing.
They have to have that after they take your child.
Okay, guys, we're going to have to cut it short because I have to be on a call for an appointment with Davis, with one of our clients. So can we, I would like to tell
you have a show tonight too?
Yeah, at 7:00 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Oh,
with
sorry,
Attorney
Mr.
Davis.
Davis, we wore her out today.
You guys go on the show tonight and write down the questions that you have for Attorney Davis, especially you, Candace, and you, Barb, and you, Darren.
Whatever.
Oh my God, I seriously need more coffee.
You need more sleep.
This is finished. I need more coffee. I don't sleep. I swear, my old boss used to call me what? Used to a
Don't
night owl. Used to call me a night owl because I was up all night working, and then I go to work in the morning.
That doesn't even make sense, right? A night owl? Aren't they nocturnal, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. He used to call me night
owl.
owl.
I know.
I don't know. He used to call me night owl. I have a text message from him at 2:30 in the morning saying, so my owl is wide awake. I'm like, he knows I'm up. He knows. I swear I'm not joking, guys. I don't sleep very well. but I can function. I can
Yeah.
function.
Mary just walked in. She goes, "We know."
Yeah, right? Mary said that.
Listen,
Yeah.
there was a point in time where my phone rang at 3:30 in the morning, and I'd be like, "Oh my God, what happened?" My phone rings at 3:30 in the morning. Mary and I will look at each other. We're like, Georgette or Candace,
Yeah.
or both. You know,
Yeah.
like I don't know. You know, like it's not even scary anymore.
That's
You know.
why that's why clients and people who are not clients, they can reach me. They actually reach me and they find me, and I do talk to them. I like 1 o'clock, 12 o'clock in the morning. It doesn't matter. I do talk to
Right,
them.
and because we're 3 hours apart too, right? So sometimes I'm not even thinking about it. I'm like, God, she's up early, but you're really not. You're up late. You know, like you call me at 3 at 6. You know, like
Yeah.
I'm going to whatever I'm going to in that day.
Yeah. But sometimes, you know, when you don't sleep for a while and then your body crashes, and sometimes I just go to bed at 9 o'clock, like not
I do
willingly,
that.
but I'm crashed. I don't know what happened. I'm just like, I went to sleep. I wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, shit, I'm late. Late for what? The
Yeah.
office is not even open at 4 o'clock in the morning. But
Yeah, you missed it. It's 4 o'clock the other time. You're
Yeah.
so exhausted, you don't even realize it.
no,
Hey, I got a quick
Georgette.
question. This a friend of mine just messaged me this.
uh-huh.
If so, say you had you were in like the appeals, all this stuff with the TPR, you hadn't spoken to the family that had your child for the longest time, and he said if they friend requested you out of the blue, would you respond to that? So I guess my buddy, he's not even really my buddy, he just listens to my podcast. Sorry about that. But I guess what he's saying is that he hasn't heard from the family that has his kid, and then someone in the family, the mother-in-law of the family or the whatever, his aunt, Facebook friend requested him yesterday. Should he answer that? And he hasn't talked to them in months and months and months. It's been like a non good. It hasn't been a good situation there either. It's been a family feud.
Me personally, I wouldn't.
Right. Because you don't know the intentions, right? Like these people could be trying to.
They're
whatever.
checking your Facebook page, and actually, just so you guys are aware, social workers.
I never thought about that. That's a good call. So they're social stalking.
Yeah, they're social stalking.
Been,
so, listen, I'm the type of person that, and this is a good honest truth, I'm the type of person that if somebody lied to me more than once, they're done. I don't trust them anymore. They're done. They're history. If somebody deceives people and I know about the deception, and I can't allow them in my world. I disconnect them completely from my life. To me personally, that's what I do. That's my philosophy. That's me. That's how I live my life.
Right, you're one and done.
One time is way too much. But if I give you 3 chances and you screwed all 3 chances, then there's something wrong with you. Something is definitely wrong with you and me if I choose to trust you again. I don't give chances. I'm very forward. I'm very honest. I speak my mind. I don't know how to sugarcoat anything. So therefore, I can't have those in my life. I don't know. I can't. And Darren, you know that. You know that about me. Everyone knows that about my ex-boss is still watching my show, by the way. He told me he watches my show.
See, I'm feeling like I just assume they're stalking my page, and it's like I have nothing to hide. You feel free to look and see that I'm speaking out against you. I have nothing to hide. So I'm like, go ahead, honey, stalk me. I would call you by name if I'm not
Stop right there. This has nothing to do with your integrity. This has nothing to do with whether you have anything to hide or not. Why would you want your enemy in your life? Why? If I own a business.
Well, I think more or less what he's trying to say.
No, I don't interact with them. I don't have anything to do with them. I just assume they're watching.
It doesn't matter. You're just saying I have nothing to hide, so let the man know. If you own a business, wouldn't you want to trust the people that work side by side with you?
Right.
I'm just saying curiosity killed the cat.
You know.
Right. It doesn't say that you're bad. When I say don't let them in, it says that you're wise. When you have a business, in order for it to grow and flourish, you have to trust the team that is backing you up.
Right.
If
Yep.
that team is corrupt, same thing with family members. Same thing with friends. If they're corrupt, you don't want them around you. You
So then
don't
chances
want
are
them in
good.
your circle. It doesn't
Chances are
matter.
good. They're trying to get inside of this person's page, like if it's private, they're wanting to get and see what is or what's not. Because chances are probably like you think that's more of a chance than they wanted to communicate somehow secretly or some sort of other thing.
Correct. Because anything, whether it's good or bad, they can use against you. You don't get that part.
Right.
Whether
Right.
it's good, they will turn the good into bad.
Yep. Because
That's
they could
what you
take
guys
it and
don't
make a
understand.
restraining order or whatever they're trying to do.
Correct. So therefore,
Right.
it's best to stay away from people that deceived you, and all of a sudden they want to come back to you. Then there's something wrong with that. Something is
Right.
not.
I mean, they already stole his kid. So, I mean, you know what I mean? Like that's the people that have his kid. And out of the blue, this person, you know, his aunt, I guess, messaged him.
Yeah.
So I
And
thought
also
it was kind
be
of weird
very
too. But
wise, right, Darren, and be very wise with social media crap. Meaning, oftentimes I get people saying, "Oh yeah, this social media
could be
advocate
someone else
or
too.
whatever the case is got
Yeah.
kids back for
Right.
these people." How do you really know that?
Right.
Anyone can make up an application. Anyone can make up an agreement, right, with this person who's not an attorney. How in the name of God do you know that she really got the kids back for the supposedly this person? That is
Right.
bullshit.
Or how do you know that that's even a real deal? That's not even a link or
Exactly.
You
And
don't
how do you
know shit,
know?
right.
And how do you know they're not social workers?
Right.
Exactly.
There's, I
That's
mean,
why
you
I'm
can go and look at your messenger someday and there's messages that you never sent, you know, and it went through your whole thing. So who's to say that a social worker didn't try to infiltrate what you have just to try to get more dirt?
Right. Right. But what do they have the administrator? Oh, my administrator is a victim of CPS. Well, I can say I'm a
I
victim
can get
of
them to get me
CPS, and I
information.
can lie to make you think. I mean, there's
Yeah.
Mr. Davis was mentioning something, and I never knew this until he mentioned it.
I was gonna think-
Artificial intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
Now they can mimic your voice. They can go and say, "I'm Attorney Davis," and it's not Attorney Davis; it's somebody else. They can say, "I'm Darren Guay," and it's not Darren Guay. But it sounds so much like Darren Guay. It's so believable. People who are deceiving will use any which way possible to deceive people for their own gain, and then they say, "Well." Wow. I get mad when people deceive. I hate deception and lies. I hate deception and lies.
Free.
I can't accept it. I can't accept it. I can't accept it. But anyways,
Free message.
then they say, "Hey, if you want to donate to my cause, here's my cash app."
Yeah.
Yep.
I am running out of money because I'm devoting myself to the cause. I need help financially. Well, guess what? Either you're devoted to the cause from your own heart or your own passion, or don't be devoted at all.
Right.
Because those people want support. They don't want you to ask them for money.
Yeah.
Okay. But oftentimes what I see is people paying for this because they're so deceived by the information that they're getting. So therefore, be careful who you give ear to and be careful who you indulge information with, because oftentimes these social workers mislead everyone and the administrator itself. And you're literally saying, "Oh yeah, my social worker is in LA County. Her name is." Why in the hell?
You have to be careful.
Why are you indulging that? And then they go and tell the social worker. Social worker contacts you and says, "Hey, Barbara, you need to bring the page down or you're never going to see your child again."
Yeah.
Think about it. How God did the social worker know that?
Well, and that's what I meant. That's what I meant by I just assume CPS is watching my page. So I don't, I'm cautious about what's out there because I assume they're watching me.
Right.
And all those little, "Oh, we can help you. I'm a private investigator who can help you bring your kids home."
They have people living in the house by you.
CPS actually hacked. people's computers. I don't know if y'all are aware of this. I know I've shared it with
Miss G, look at your
Georgette,
email.
but they literally will hack your stuff and they will leave stuff behind.
Mhm.
It's crazy.
I mean,
And
you
Oh,
guys,
Larry
real
does it.
deal.
You think it's them?
yeah, I mean, honest to God, you guys that don't know the corruption like I know the corruption, and a lot of people are so misled. Like I said, it is horrible. It's horrible, horrible, horrible. And I think one of my shows I did share with you guys, Darren. I don't know if you remember, but I know Cassandra for sure. Cassandra's watching this, and I know for sure, 100% she remembers. I said this several times. The person that gave me that idea of what's going on in social media was a mother of a social worker,
Mhm.
a mother of a social worker who called me, told me, I don't approve of what my daughter is doing, but you seem like a passionate lady. You really care about what you're doing. I want to bring to your attention that my daughter has a social media account pretending she's a victim of CPS.
Mhm.
She's
Ugh.
sharing all the information and
Mhm.
she's disclosing so much that she's aware of how to fight the system, but she's actually there to give information to the courts, to the state courts, of what that client or what that mother or father is disclosing on social media platform. I got attacked several times when I mentioned that on my show by the advocates saying, Miss G, you're not supposed to say that, or you shouldn't say that. You shouldn't scare people. Well, guess what? I don't care who you are. I honestly don't care. Honestly, Darren and you guys should know me by now. Do I care? Do I really care what they think of me? I
Tell
don't
the
care.
truth.
No.
I don't give a shit. I will say what it is, no matter what y'all think, because you guys are hurting families. You guys are deceiving. You're not attorneys. You have no right to act like a sitting a fucking attorney when you have no fucking right to help these people when you know you're full of shit and you yourself you can't even win your case. How in the fuck are you gonna help somebody else win their fucking case? How in the fuck are you going to sit here and tell me that you are a sitting attorney when you're full of shit? Full of shit. So don't tell me that you disagree with me because I don't care who you are. I don't care what you think of me. I will tell the people the right information. I will not mislead them. And no way in hell, if you can't win your case, you can win somebody else's case for them. Try again, because I wasn't born yesterday, child. I am older than you. I am somewhat wiser than you because I keep learning as I grow. The older I get, the more wiser I get. So don't try to bullshit me with your information and telling people, giving them hope, and then telling people to donate to your Cash App page. That's bullshit. Do you understand that? That's bullshit
I
information.
agree. I agree. And to be
Bullshit.
honest with you, like in my situation, like I actually started two different pages. One page I particularly put USC codes on it, and I put case law on it. And then there's another page that I have that I put PDF files of information that people can actually learn. Like like I was explaining to you, I'm self-taught. I know if I didn't personally know it myself, and I have had to find it for myself, then you know what? That should be put out for everybody else. And I don't ask anybody for anything because I don't want anything. I do it just because of the fact that I know what it's like. I know exactly, the battles that I've had to fight for myself, and being basically monetized and completely torn down by the system. So what the hell would I look like if I was sitting there going and asking for other parents, that's going through the same fucking thing that I'm going through, asking for their money? That's ridiculous. And especially if you ain't even won your own child back.
Yeah.
I mean,
You guys have to be very careful. I swear I'm not joking, you guys. The reason this show is gone on now to 2 hours and 40 minutes. I mean, what I'm trying to tell you guys when I do stuff like this is because I want you guys all to win. I want you guys to be aware. You guys need to be aware of your rights. You guys need to be aware that you need to lawyer up. You guys cannot, I mean, and I share stories with you from what's going on from within only because I don't want you to repeat the mistakes that other parents repeat. You know, when
Mm.
you have a good attorney, listen to your attorney. Listen to your attorney. Listen to your attorney. I'm not talking about court-appointed attorneys. Please listen to your attorney that you spend money on. Don't think you know what you're doing, and don't give ears to friends and family. Don't give ears to social media platforms where child advocates or I hate CPS social media shit. Don't give ears to that. Don't give ears to people. Don't just invite people on your Facebook page who you don't know. You don't know them. Why would you allow them to be on your page?
Mm-hmm.
Why? Why
Right.
would you allow them to know what's going on with you and your attorney? And also, when you hire an attorney, do not speak about your case to your family. Do not speak about your case to your friends, supposedly friends. Do not speak to your case about anyone because sometimes family goes against you. You know,
Yeah.
don't try to think,
Trust no one.
right. You need to be private. It's only you and your attorney or somebody in the attorney's office that you trust. Because
Oh,
we
that's,
are
you know what?
here for the same cause. Same cause
Yep.
is to get your children back. So don't hinder it and don't give ear, like I said, because we have clients who says, well, my mama said, my sister said, my uncle said, my neighbor
Mm.
said. And I tell them the same thing. I don't give a fuck who your neighbor is.
So this is that's funny. This is to add to the list. I have a list of like the things so we can recap it or whatever. But it's very important the books that you write your information in to make sure that you put on there something along the lines of for your eyes only, for your attorneys, something like that. Because in the case that a CPS caseworker walks by, picks up the novel that you have in your hand that you've written of your own thing, and it's not dedicated, that it's private and yours, they can and will use that against you.
Exactly. Exactly.
So it's very important to write somewhere on, for your eyes only, whatever you got to market for yourself, like, because that's happened to a couple people I know too. And that's terrible because, some people aren't careful about how they, write or produce their information. So
Yeah.
again, these are all things we've talked about today that, I pray to God that no one actually has to use this stuff. And this isn't information you're like, you can be like, oh, hey, no, so next month I'm going to get a CPS investigation. Tom, did you see that thing? It could be tomorrow. Your kid could fall down at the playground at school. He's got a bruise on its leg. And the next thing you know, they're coming in 3 deep with 2 cops and your world is flipped upside down. So the best thing you can do is prepare yourself for that moment. Even if anything, put together a notebook, a little tape recorder, and, the things like we had talked about, a list of family members. Do that. You know what? It could be a great fun learning event for you and all your kids, because think about it. They need to be involved with this stuff too. Because in the event, it's so fast when they remove your child, that's the shaking up and the trauma. So unfortunately, where we live and how we live now, you know what? It may behoove you to take the time with your child, come up with a list of 25 names. That way, when the child will have his own something to stand on when they get in the situation, say, no, you're supposed to contact 25 of my family members. You can't, I don't know personally how it goes on that side, but I would think at least it's something, because when they come in, just take them. Those are children, for God's sakes. They're not ready for this. And unfortunately, we have to get them ready, because the words of Lester Brown were actually, you know what?
Lester Brown.
This is
Okay.
this is the last thing I'm going to say right here. I'm going to tell you.
He said Lester Brown. I love that.
Yeah. You know how he says it's not over until I win?
Mhm.
It's the last thing they said it to me at my TPR. And they said, you are so threatening that you took the words of Lester Brown and said, it's not over until I win.
Mhm.
That, Darren Gway, is why you're getting TPR'd. So I took motivational words.
And I love that. You know why? You know why? Because, I'm going to tell you guys, I want to share something with you guys. It's a true story. I was on the phone with that complicated client I was telling you about, and Attorney Davis. And Attorney Davis says, hey, I want to win this case. He was so nice. He's like telling her, I want to win this case. So you're going to do it my way or your way? She said her way. And I swear to God, and I don't like swearing to God, sorry, God, but honest to God, I wanted to get in that phone
Okay.
wire and I'm like, what is wrong with you? Like, shake her up a little bit. Like, what is wrong with you? So her attorney saying, hey, I don't want to lose. I want to win. So Darren reminded me of that. You know, he just reminded me of that. I want to win. Your attorney wants to win. A good attorney wants to win. But if you do it your way, you're going to screw up everything. If you think you guys know what you're doing, I guarantee you, you're not going to be able to win. I'm telling you that right now.
And this is why, right here. This is how little they have to have. Okay. This is document right out of my case file.
Right.
Miss, you've heard this before, but for everybody else that's listening, first of all, make sure you like this show. We're going to continue on. We're trying to show the world that we're making a change. But listen to this. If you think that you will never have this happen to you, just listen to these words. This assessment has resulted in the decision that you did abuse or neglect your child. It may be difficult to see in writing very specific information about the facts that led to this decision.
Wow.
Darren Guay is substantiated for high severity neglect to Nina Guay.
Wow.
So since I did nothing, there's no words in the English language, right? That would be what I would guess is this must be so terrible that there's no words for it.
Correct.
Right? No, it's bullshit. They had no information. And to tell you why I know they had no information, because the district, whatever the hell she is, lady, sent me an email saying that statement means when I got this, I was going to be crying, so I wouldn't be able to see the words.
That is crazy.
Yeah, you they think I'm that stupid. Anyway,
I mean, that does not make no sense to me. You're going to be crying so you can't see the words? Like, what the fuck?
That's their exact words.
It makes no sense whatsoever. Common
they basically
doesn't exist. You know that, right?
They said right there, they don't even know how they got evidence, or they don't even know what evidence they have. That's basically right. Wasn't that what it says, right? We can't even tell you what is it. I'm sorry.
Did you guys ever?
It may be difficult to see in writing very specific information about the facts that led in this decision. They don't even know what the fuck facts they have to make a decision.
Look what Roy just wrote, Darren. Initial allegations were about my kids playing outside.
Yeah. What allegation is that? And they put
this is the shit that I'm talking about. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah, exactly. You guys think, I think up, like, I literally come up with ideas in my head all night. Like, what can I do to make a difference? How can I bring every child back home? I'm like literally, and I'm always like, somebody needs to speak to Davis. I'm like, I'm on it immediately. We have a client that just adores me to death. And she always says, Georgette, I know you get results. You show results. When I need to speak to Davis, you make sure he's on the phone with me. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm trying so hard to make sure everyone has access of this one man. One man. And you guys think he's sitting on his couch, licking a lollipop or eating bonbons, when he's in fact, he works really hard. He really works hard. No other attorney in the United States will give you their cell number. And you can text any hour of day and night. And definitely no assistant will ever give you her cell number to text her any time of the day and night, unless they know that they're dealing with a good cause. Do you understand me? Do you guys get it? This is not a joke for us. And I can only speak for me and Davis only because I know Davis. And I know what his passion is. So you guys either need to
be putting out the information he puts out.
Say what?
If he didn't want to be helpful. Like if you go to his YouTube channel, he's got resource upon videos upon, look at, he makes you guys that work for him put up these platforms. He has the 24/7. Does he still have the channel, the CPS 24/7 channel that he had going? Is that still on?
Are you talking about
He
the
had
radio?
he had a at one point in time,
He's
and I
still
thought it was
there,
just
but
recently.
he's not doing that. He's not doing that right now. We're
Like he had a corruption 24/7. Like it was like he put his own little thing together at one point in time. I'm almost positive I'm right about that.
Davis. I don't know if it was one of my shows or his shows, or was it something he told me while we were driving to court? I'm not sure. I don't remember truthfully. Like I said, I need coffee. I'm done with mine. I need it. So he mentioned this to me. He said, I know how it feels like being away from your mother. And he shared that with you guys, I think at one point, is that he was away from his mother for 21 years. And he knows that he missed out on a lot. And his mother is not a bad mom. She was a great mom. But the way he explained it is his dad and her were fighting custody, and she didn't speak English well, and she lost custody of him, and he was raised by his grandmother. And the thing about it is that he knows the pain, and that's why he's so calm with you guys. If you guys,
that's a hard.
This is why I stand up. This is why I stand up for him. He doesn't need I'm not his bodyguard. He doesn't need my protection. But the thing is, when somebody disrespects him, to me, I lash out. Not because of anything, not because he can't or he cares. It's because he's so calm with you guys. He's so patient. But you guys, some of you guys really disrespect him. And when you guys disrespect him to me, you're going to see the monster in me come out. You're not going to see the nice Miss G come out. You're going to see the monster in me come out. This man does work day and night for you guys, and he does know your case, even though some of you guys, when you read him, he always asks, "Who are you?" in a text message, because he doesn't save everybody's information. He's out in court hearings, or he's driving from court, or whatever the case may be. He's like, I'm not in front of my desk. Who are you? Like, please give me your full name. They automatically think, hey, you don't know us. I can't believe you.
Think about what this man had to go through to get to where he is now. Like growing up central, out in LA with, the ethnic, togetherness at that point in time, of who they were. And then this is a time where you don't get divorced. You don't get separated. It's an embarrassment to the family. This man he's without his mom. He's broken. Like a son without his mom is a fucking terrible thing. Yeah. It's like a mom without a boy, whatever. And then he gets himself through law school and then decides to fight these bastards. He goes in and takes the beast head on.
You guys,
what other attorneys doing this? No one.
There's a passion behind him doing this. And he did it like when he found out that the government really is corrupt and they're stealing children from his
whatever his opinion is.
Our body attorney is. He didn't believe it. He actually didn't believe it. So he became, for you guys, but you guys are not giving him enough credit. I'm not saying all of you guys, but I do hear a lot of disrespect. I do hear a lot of people saying, oh, your reviews. Well, you know what? Anyone who loses their own case will blame the attorney.
What do you mean? What do they say? How can they talk bad about the
they're not even trying.
His YouTube channel alone, the amount of time he volunteers to educate others says, he could be a real dick and say, hey, $5 on Promethea or whatever that website is that they go to get paid stuff. Yep. You get an ass load of information from this man for free.
For free.
But he's probably still paying for obtaining because he went to law school. Like, come on.
Exactly. And I tell people this, I say, if he's really, to me, if he doesn't have the passion to help you, but you're so disrespectful. You're so disrespectful to the man that's really trying to help you. You're disrespectful to somebody also like me, for example, who's up all night trying to help you and giving you advice, but you're not taking that advice and you're attacking your attorney who you paid money to help you. And you want it your way. I mean, to me, you have to be a psychotic to think that way. You have to be dedicated to think that way.
When we first met and everything,
she knows I'm right.
My brother called up and he paid well, it wasn't a small amount of money, but it wasn't large either. Pocket change, I'm sure, for that side, but I appreciate it. My brother's great. And Mr. Davis spent 2 minutes to 3 minutes on a phone call with me. And the information was worth way more than that. But I also got 24/7 access to all this stuff with these guys because they mean it when they say call them with their cell phone, call
Oh
them
yeah,
with
by
this,
the
call them
way,
with that. Like
hey,
Georgette, I call whenever I want. She might yell, she might this, but she calls me, I yell too. But I have access to them all the time.
you don't like I yell at you every time you know what, Dave?
You do. I'm scared. I asked Mary. She's like, you're scared of her. You know, when I don't answer, it's because I'm scared. She goes, what did you do wrong then? Shut up. She's always right.
You're only
Always
scared
right.
when you did something wrong. Mary was right. Mary is 100% right.
Yeah.
Mary's 100%
Like
right.
I was
by the
waiting
way,
for that thing today with the show with the music thing. I'm like, don't ask. Don't. She remembered.
By the way, Darren Davis told me when we were going to court last week, he told me that I was talking to him about you and your case and about the appeal. You lost the appeal. He said for you to set up an appointment, and I did email you and I said set up an appointment with Davis, and I don't know if he did it or not.
Yeah. Here's the what's
I
that?
told
What's
you to
that?
call the
I haven't
office.
done, no, I haven't done it. I will make sure I do it because I'm out of time. I know you told me what he had said, so I did research that, and I meant to call today. I didn't. I will call first thing in the morning because I only have so much more time.
Yeah. Call in the morning, make an appointment, ask for Joni, make an appointment, just tell her Miss G and Mr. Davis approved it. That's it.
What time's your guys? What you guys got a show right? Like in now?
No, the show starts at
No?
7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Oh yeah, 7 your time, 7 here. Something. I'm gonna. Mr. Davis likes these backgrounds. I gotta make him a gift of a background for his show tonight.
He would really appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, what do you think? What kind
I
of
think it
thing
would
should
be
I
great.
do? No, I know, but like, what is? Give me some ideas. And you know what? Make sure you guys like this. Like this. Make sure you guys like our YouTube. Have your friends rewatch it. Make sure you like it. Leave some comments underneath. Subscribe to Mr. Davis's his channel because he's got so much information, and we're there with them. But make sure it's very important that you like us because Georgette has big plans for us. We've set a goal for 500 likes and the remainder of the month. And Georgette is like way too low.
Yeah. So please share only because I want everyone that doesn't have a case or has a case. I need everyone to be aware, and I need those people to also be aware and send them to other people. Share all of the information with other people that like I said, whether you have a case or not, please share it with people.
We got big stuff. We got big stuff coming, guys. And the more you help us, the more we help you. We're gonna I'm
trying to make this all over the world, and this is Darren knows my passion, and it's going to be where the news media will want to be able to know what's going on. That's how it literally want to know.
Beat CPS.tv, Mr. Davis said. So check out beatcps.tv, and he has
there's no dot. It's just beatcps.tv.
Yeah.
Right. And that's his, right? It's his 24-hour channel of just all of his stuff going.
Yeah. Kind of like your brain and my brain at nighttime. Yeah, kind of like that.
Yeah, my brain at nighttime is like, you know.
He's telling the truth.
And usually I'm naked. So, like Mary's like, God, you strange looking.
You guys are too much. But that's the whole purpose of this, guys. Also, we need to make sure Canada has it too. Canada, the United Kingdom.
Look at this one.
Oh, Hawaii. You guys know that they have CPS there. Hawaii, United Kingdom, Canada.
You told me Guam, right?
And Guam. I didn't know Guam had it until recently. Like I can't remember when did I find out about Guam? When I got a call from there.
Yes.
I'm like, what is this number? It's so weird. But I didn't call them back. I emailed them.
Hey Barb, how you feeling? You feeling good about everything? You like Candace and what happened tonight? And
Oh yeah,
Feeling good about
I got to talk to Candace on the phone the other night. She's great. Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
been it's a very emotional day today. So yeah,
Yeah, I'm sorry for
I'm
you.
sorry,
crying
it's
quiet,
been
you know.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
Hey,
you
you know
know
what?
what?
That's where all
That's
around.
why
We're family,
we're family.
right?
Remember that we're
There's
family.
Indian friends.
I don't believe in friends. I believe in family.
There's am in family.
Yeah, friends.
Family. Look,
Remember what I told you
FAM.
guys, friends? END. There's an end. There's 3 letters at the end of the word friends. Friend. END. There comes an end.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes that person is there for a lifetime, and that sometimes if they're there for a lifetime, then they're family. If they're there only to gain some shit from you, to use you and leave you, that's not family. That's not family. I don't believe we're family, guys. We're family. We're family. That's how we need to act. That's how the world need to behave. We need to protect each
Agreed.
other. That's
Mhm.
what we need to do. It doesn't matter, like I said, if you're black or white or purple or
Love
green
thy
or
neighbor.
whatever. Love each other. Love is the most
Mhm.
powerful thing. The most powerful thing you can give someone. It's free.
Mhm.
Love is free. Is
Mhm.
offered to you. It's actually given freely. But if
Yeah.
you deceive love and you pretend you love and you're deceiving and you're hurting people,
Don't you
then
ever
you're
fake
a
love.
scumbag.
You
You're a
just made
scumbag
a
and
good
you're full of
point
shit.
too.
Right.
You
So
just made
let's
a good
read.
point.
Let's.
Love is free. Do you get paid to love your child? But do those foster parents get paid?
Yeah, slavery, man. They're
Love,
fucking.
true love is free.
Love is
True
free.
love. Hey, let's recap this. So CPS knocks on your door. First thing you do is what?
Come open the door.
Don't answer it. Right.
Mhm.
Bing, ain't
Barricade
barred.
that
Right?
thing.
Second thing
Barricade
you do is what?
Call an attorney.
Yep, and that number's right here. Everybody look down. It says 888-888-6582. You tell these caseworkers you're calling Vincent Davis, boom, off to the hills. And that's no joke. When our situation or my friend's situation knew that we were conversating with Mr. Davis, they definitely changed their game plan. They re-strategized. I didn't have Mr. Davis. I wanted to get like a blow up one of him and put him in the car. So I'd be like, see, I told you I've got him up here. But that didn't happen because I think that would have made a big difference. But I do appreciate everything he's done. He's an amazing man. The stuff that he allows. Anyway, call that number because at least they'll know that you mean business. You're contacting him and you are contacting his office. So that's awesome. Third thing you're going to want to do is start writing, recording, keep your things together as far as your notes, what went on. Record. Don't let them tell you they can't record.
No.
Also,
Stop. I used to
well,
have the mindset that Davis had to stop me. You can't tell people to record. They have to acknowledge that they are being recorded. They have to consent, especially in California. I don't know about
right,
other states.
right,
Other
which
I
states
have
I
a
may,
was
list.
going to get to.
or yeah, you in California,
Right.
you have
Miss
to
G.
get the consent from them because if somebody recorded me,
Mhm.
I have the right to sue them and
Right.
prosecute them. I mean, kind of
Yeah,
like
and Maine, the same thing. You have to put CCTV, like if you come into your house,
right.
all that stuff. Yeah, no, I was
Alabama,
getting
this
to
one
that.
person consent, and
Oh,
that one
you're
So,
person is you.
so,
I actually have a list of all 50 states.
whenever it is law applicable and you're following your local laws and regulations, make sure it behooves you to make sure that you do this. I actually have again, because Mary one night felt that something wasn't going to be right in an interview. She flipped on the CCTV for whatever reason, and sure enough, we got this woman lying right there. But guess what? Not admissible. They don't care, but you could use it on the stand. Anyway, make sure you do that. Emails, make sure you email. You just said something on the list of 25 names, right? I know
25
we
names.
didn't talk
Mr.
about
Davis
it.
says 25 names anywhere in the world, meaning if you have family members in Guam or Africa or Egypt or Saudi Arabia, it
want to go to
doesn't
Egypt for
matter.
that.
It doesn't matter because social workers
Mhm.
often tell you guys, oh, I can't do that because your mom lives in Arizona. Example. or your sister lives in Arizona, the case is in California, in LA. That is a lie. Mr. Davis specifically said if you have 25 names of family members or friends anywhere in the world, he didn't say anywhere in the state.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But they're going to try to argue you, right? Like they try to say no because what is the purpose?
But you guys need this for trial. You guys need this for appeals. You guys need to set them
Right.
up. You guys don't get it, do you? A lot of people say, oh, I gave it to my attorney. Well, did your attorney submit it?
Right.
Do you have proof that you gave it to the social worker? So everything should be in writing. Everything should
Right.
be recorded in writing. Emails, text messages, all that is very, very important. Don't just go by word. Word
document.
And make sure, like Georgette said, make sure that if there's something that's a flaw that you need to correct because you're aware of it, make sure you do it right away. I've been going through this stuff for months and months. There's papers that I've read that I didn't even realize I had, or I don't remember it, or I didn't think I did, or it was on there. You believe me, by the time this is done, you have a room that's dedicated. That's how much paperwork that you receive from this. You know, like I know that, you know, Candace, I know it's fact. I've known Miss Georgette. I don't know you bet yet, Barb, but I'm willing to bet that you at least have half a room of paperwork.
Oh yeah.
You know, so yeah, right. Like binders, pencils, whatever.
Barbara's great.
I'm telling you, the
She's
more
good.
you have, you know, file it, make it right. You got your own library, get your law books, get whatever, but make sure you keep it all together, organized, because sometimes they're going to come in and lambaste you out of left field. You need to know where your stuff is, you know, like make sure you can pull that paperwork out if they come, you know. That was that. And then, you know, Miss G, I think Miss G was the one that brought it up. Make sure you check the credentials on the attorneys if you know, whether you're paying for them or the state's giving them to you. It's not, how does that work? It's not the requirement. It's a requirement that the state offers you or an attorney, but they're not necessarily required to fulfill. I don't remember how that goes, but there are instances where that doesn't work, but make sure you get yourself represented one way or the other. What did you say? Like 0.03% or something like that. People win if they try to, you know, go out appeal by themselves or whatever. Like you're going to get smoked. You need to have an attorney because you don't know.
Winning the lottery. It's like winning the lottery. You have.
I've been hit by lightning. You know, I've been hit by lightning 3 times.
Oh my goodness.
Think I can win a scratch ticket for the life of me?
I won the lottery too. It was only $3. That's how much I won. $3.
For $1 for each time I get hit by lightning.
No, she said she won the lottery.
$3.
But anyway, so we'll check on our attorneys.
What was some of the other stuff? To buy the ticket.
You know what? $1 is $1.
I got $1.
I can't believe you have a gambling addiction.
Oh my God. I have a coffee addiction.
I get it now.
Coffee.
Yeah. Mr. Davis, she's gambling away everything and drinking coffee like it's going out of style. Because it might be. Who knows? We don't even know. Are we even sure that that's coffee?
That is coffee, ass. That is coffee.
I've never seen it have anything in it. It's always been empty. Oh, wow. It does have stuff in it.
Yeah, of course it is.
I always thought that you might just carry around a mug. I don't know.
No, that is coffee, dear. And I love my coffee, and it has to be hazelnut.
So send it to her office.
It
Anybody
has to
listening?
be hazelnut, guys.
So
it has
hard.
to be hazelnut. No decaf.
You got Starbucks or something by you? You got Starbucks by you?
I have Starbucks everywhere by me.
Do you like Starbucks? You guys don't have Dunkin' Donuts out there, right?
We have Dunkin' Donuts. I'm not a big fan of donut. Again,
how about
we have a
Christmas
client that actually made it a point to take me to Starbucks twice a month. I'm not joking.
Anybody else can do that for her as much as they'd like. We'd appreciate it.
I'm
here
not
on the
saying
East
that,
Coast.
Darren. Stop it. Stop it.
I'm just trying to help you out. That's all.
She knows how much I love my coffee. So
yeah, it's important because you'll help me with the phone calls.
She's more than a client now. She's more like a friend of mine now. She's more than a client.
Oh man.
And I have another one like that. I haven't met her yet, but we promise I'm gonna with her and her mom and her daughter, her older daughter, and she's just waiting for her daughter to come from another state, and then we're gonna set up a meeting. Just gonna have lunch together.
Oh,
So I
Barb,
wish
where are you
it
from?
was to be Maine. I'm in
Huh?
Darren. I mean,
Yeah, I was
Barb is
from
in California. She's northern, right, Barb?
Yeah, I'm up in Northern California.
The Northern California.
Like, is that where I went to Calistoga once?
I know where it is, but it's not that close. I
It's
mean,
where the wine flows like something.
yeah.
I went to a casino
Not
there
that
too.
far
I
from
met
me.
Georgette.
And who's the gambler, Mr. Casino?
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. I probably sat next to you and I didn't even realize it back then. It was in
Probably
2015.
not. I don't think Barb is a gambler. Are you a gambler, Barb?
No.
No. she's not.
No, but we all know that you are. So
No, we are not.
at least you're up a dog. Listen, it's not that bad.
Isn't it
You're
amazing
doing
when a
okay.
gambler when a gambler thinks everybody else is a gambler?
You better give that $1 to the church too.
I can't tell you
God
what I do
says-
with the church. That's between me and God, and I like to keep
I
it
know,
that
but
way.
God also says no gambling.
God is supposed to be between you and God. You're not supposed to announce it.
I
You're
know he
not
just
supposed
talked to
to
me
do
and he
that.
said, "Let Georgette know it says." I'm just kidding with you, Georgette.
I know you
gave
are.
$2. You gave $2 to the Department of Education, right?
You're not supposed
Exactly.
to reveal the
That's when you buy
business you
tickets.
do because it's not going to count on you.
Speaking of that, let's
You're not
Yeah.
supposed to reveal it. It's supposed to be between you and God only. If you reveal it,
Mm.
then you want
I
recognition.
love him so much, though. I love to share his information.
I love God too. I love
Mhm.
God very much.
Yeah.
And
And
I
you
want
know what?
I want you. What is
Oh,
that?
damn it.
I can't see that.
That says I
Back up
freaking
a
love
little
you.
bit. Back because of
I'm trying to- there it goes.
I freaking love you.
I freaking love you.
Is
That's
that
what
for
she
me?
says all the time.
I say that all the time.
Uh-huh.
I always say that. I always say I freaking love you guys. I always say that.
Your signs like it.
Wait a minute.
I
Where's
made
my
that.
shirt? Where's my shirt, Darren?
I don't know. Did you order one?
Supposedly the thing you're working on for me?
Did you not get the graphic? That's the first one I had behind me. That thing's freaking awesome, isn't it? I haven't had time because I've been.
Real Talk with Miss G and the gang.
Did you
Where
see
is
that
it?
graphic with the swoosh?
I've been waiting for
Here,
that.
let me put it. You know what? I wish we could do like a share screen on this or something. Can we?
Oh my God! Look at the doggy! Oh my God! Oh my God! That's so
It
cute.
looks like the one from. It reminds me of the one from.
I'm gonna show my
What's the
doggy
show
now.
with the dude with alfalfa?
Come here, mommy. I'm
Oh,
gonna show you guys
Lord.
my doggy.
You guys.
She just had puppies.
Oh,
She just
damn.
had 10 puppies like 3 days ago.
Hey, Candace, let's get why don't you can we auction off one of Candace's puppies? Make someone give us money for
Hello.
donate to a family or something?
This is Molly.
Can
Are
we
we
do
still
that?
live on air?
Yeah, we are. This is the fun part. This is like the wrap up at the end.
Yes. I know.
This is
This
our
is the poor
Molly.
one that was abused in foster care.
Oh my gosh, where's my dog?
But he's doing a little better
Oh, they
now.
probably took it.
Oh, we all
They
got puppy
probably took
dogs.
the damn thing.
Uh-huh.
See?
If you ever hear a weird coughing sound, it's coming from here.
Oh,
Look, she's wanting to go outside to use the bathroom, and I'm just like, you just gotta wait.
You got friends.
She's been jumping us on the door.
You got friends. I don't.
I woke her up from her nap though.
You go get warm in your blankie now. Yeah.
I woke her up. Ha ha. Wait, what is that? Darren, what the hell? Darren, you're scaring me right now. That's a camel. You're showing me a camel's head? I'm Egyptian, Darren.
I know. I know. I gave her, it's like Darren. Hey, you know what? They have that rando knot stuff. Get it? They have that rando knot stuff, right? Or you put in, you give your you like pick your thing, like you
Darren,
pick your
that's
intention.
horrible. What you're doing right now? That's horrible.
What is it? It's a donkey.
That is not a donkey.
It's
That
just
is a
an ass.
camel.
No, it's not. It's a donkey. It's an ass, Georgette. And it's just fluorescent.
I
That's
swear,
all.
I'm gonna have Mary beat the crap out of you tonight. Mary, I hope you're listening.
Oh, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do to Mary tonight.
You know,
I'm gonna
Mary,
make
I
her
hope you're
suffer.
listening to your husband so you can beat him up for me.
Yeah,
But
she's
no,
not.
but
I'm-
hey, Barb,
Yeah.
honestly, make sure you call the office and make an appointment with Davis and me.
Okay.
Just
Okay.
ask for Joni and tell Joni that Miss G is aware of it, okay? And make sure that
Okay.
I am on the call too, okay?
Okay, I will.
And Darren, the same thing goes to you. Please don't forget to call the office.
I won't forget. I just don't. You
You
don't give me
just
enough
forgot.
time in
It's
the
been
day.
a week, Darren,
You-
and you forgot. How are you going to tell me you don't forget when you forget?
I just forgot that.
Uh,
I answered a question with a question.
You know what? I wish Maine was in California because I want to go personally.
I wish it was too, because it'd probably be a hell of a lot warmer than it is now.
they're getting snow right now.
No,
Darren.
I'm having a blizzard right now. we're going to be
Oh
landlocked
yeah,
for the
'cause
next
you're up there.
few days.
Yeah, Georgia. Do you go to Hollywood? Is there like, do you go over there and see all the famous people? Does that happen?
I don't like Hollywood, honey.
I didn't ask if you liked it. Do you go there?
Why would I go there if I don't like it? There's
I don't know
crazy
if you have to
people
drive
on the
through
streets of Hollywood.
How
like
many?
that.
Who's the most famous person you've ever? Well, not most famous. What's the biggest celebrity you've seen out in California in your area that you
I
were like, holy shit, I
cannot-
saw this person.
I cannot. Well,
Besides Mr. Davis.
I cannot reveal that because they used to be clients where I used to work.
Oh my god. Okay, non-client.
Non-client, I saw.
Like driving down the road and there's like Brooke Smith or whoever. I don't even know.
Non-client, it was Angelina Jolie,
Did you stop?
and she was in Century City.
Was she mobbed or was she like solo?
She was kind of solo.
Does she look like she does? I mean,
She looks horrible in person.
yeah, like you almost didn't recognize her.
I did recognize her, but the person at that location said that's Angelina Jolie, and then people were going to her, but she was not.
It wasn't like you were.
I'd
expecting.
rather not say anything. In my opinion, she was not down to earth, humble.
Ah,
was
it's
not-
so freaking
She was not
disappointing.
receiving like
I mean,
I'll give you another example. When I met oh my god, what's his name? The one that did
Darren
the
Gray.
Jesus movie, that produced the Jesus movie, the Passion of the Christ. What's his name? Mel Gibson.
Brown.
When it's snowing.
When I met Mel Gibson, I kid you not,
No,
he's the sweetest
you
man
met Mel
on the
Gibson.
face of the earth. Mel Gibson is the sweetest man on the face of the earth. Very
Wow, I
humble,
didn't even-
very funny, and he actually greets you with a hug, and he allows you to take pictures with him. He was so sweet. The
Really?
sweetest man I have ever met in person that's a celebrity.
How much time did you have with him?
Oh my God, about more than 30 minutes.
Really?
Yeah, very sweet
That's
man.
cool.
Very sweet man.
I've heard bad things. I've heard that he was kind of a jerk, but
Usually you hear bad things on the good people a lot.
Yeah.
You know why?
So,
Because they're good people.
I used to like go, I follow the Grateful Dead and Fish and all that stuff, you know,
Right.
in my younger days. And there's a man by the name of Jackie Green, which he went up with Phil Lesh and Fish, you know, Dead and Friends and all that stuff, and Warren Haynes. Like all those guys are awesome, but Jackie Green's like the up and coming blues guy. He's from out in California too, I believe. So we were at the Boston House of Blues and he was there, and I'm like, God, imagine if I could meet Jackie Green and whatever, because it's a small venue, you know. I go outside, I'm having a cigarette, and there's this freaking tour bus. And it was like the weirdest thing, because it was like me, tour bus window, Jackie Green. And I could see the sizzle, the smoke coming off his coffee, everything. I'm like, wow. So I went over, I knocked on the tour bus door, and the guy comes out, and I'm like, hey, can I speak to Jackie Green? He goes, yeah. Jackie Green comes out. I couldn't say a fucking thing. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to do. I was frozen solid right there.
Who the hell
And
is
he's
Jackie
like,
Green?
wow. He's a singer. He's a great, you probably would like him.
Who is he?
You know, he's like,
What kind of
He's a man that plays.
what songs?
He's like folky. He's like folky music.
Like
You know what? It would be okay. Let me tell you. This is I think this would be a good song for us. I'll tell you. Let's see if you can he's you know, like, do you like the Grateful Dead? I mean,
I listen to oldies, you guys. I love the oldies. I listen to oldies a lot. I don't listen to rap. I'm not into any of that crap.
like how much old are you talking? Because nowadays the oldies are
I'm
the
talking
80s.
about
Don't
Frank
forget.
Sinatra. I like jazz. I
Oh
love
yeah, you like
jazz.
mafia music.
Well, you know,
The sounds of the mafia.
I
here's
listen
a-
to jazz. I listen to those things. I don't like rap. I am old
Oh, yeah.
school. I'm not young, you guys. Act like I'm 20 and shit. I'm not young.
No, I mean, shit. No,
I'm
just
not
act like you're
young.
20. No
I'm
shit.
almost like I'm reaching 60, you know, faster than I think, by the way.
You know, it's really scary. I realized the other day, Mary goes, "Babe, you're 45." And I really got scared.
You're a baby. You're
No,
a
I'm
baby.
not a
You're
baby.
45. That's a baby in my
Well,
eyes.
because you're older than that now. You know, it gets scary. You know, I've always been scared that between the ages of 40 and 50, I'm going to have a massive heart attack. I figured if I can get out of 50, then I'm going to be okay.
Hey,
But I'm
guys,
scared.
Candace has to go. And Darren, we're going to have to go too. I'm
not going to go. I'll just stay here all the time.
All right. I'm going to tell Davis you're going to be at 24/7.
Wait, can you hear this? Check this out. I want you to hear the first lines of the song. Ready?
Go, Candace, go. Because he's holding us hostage.
Mind.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Send it to me, Darren. Can you send it to me?
Yeah, sure will.
What was his name?
This is Jackie Green, and this is "Don't Let the Devil Take Your Mind."
Wow.
Yeah, it's a good dude.
That's a good way to end the show. Don't let the devil take your mind.
I think every end of show we should put some sort of a song that's related to something somehow, or maybe not. Whatever.
That's actually a good idea.
It works.
Because there's
Tomorrow,
one guy that I love on TikTok. He always raps about the government, but his music is his lyrics is so dead on, you guys. It's like exactly what the government is doing. And Darren knows a guy, so we're gonna kind of bring it together. Where
yeah, Young Prize
listen
517.
to the song. I mean the lyrics, and also yeah, we're gonna have you guys listen to the lyrics because it's very powerful. I like listening to it actually, and
And it's rap.
I know.
Are you talking about my dude or your dude? Well, both of them are rappers, right?
Yeah, but I'm only.
Who's your guy?
talking
What's his
about
name on TikTok?
I
What's your
have.
TikTok guy?
I can't remember the name, honey. I have to. I saved
So
it.
there it is. You're getting old.
You know what?
Grace, Grace,
You know-
who is it? Hello. Mary's like, you're crazy, Darren. I'll be sitting here, I'm doing something, and I'm like, Grace, where are you, Grace? I need some help over here. Davis is waiting. Mary would be like, who are you talking to? I told Grace that earlier. She laughed.
Oh my God, Darren is 45, but he is getting old too.
I
Apparently,
know. I'm trying to actually dye my
the
hair.
system made him The system made him 95 right now. The system, CPS, the government literally.
Oh my
turned
God, I
this
can't,
45-year-old
like-
into a 95-year-old.
You see the gray hair?
I swear they just age you. That's age you. That's insane, you
You know
guys.
what sucks is my arms are getting so little.
Because
If I
you're not.
showed you a picture of what I looked like when
I
Mary and I
know
first
you.
met,
I know when you had the humongous arms.
yeah.
I've known you.
I mean, like, if I wore the shirts now that I used to wear like shirts with the guns and all.
Yeah.
Now I'm like that dude I used to make fun of, like this guy with the,
Yeah.
you know, like this used to be like a tall person. Now it's a scrunched up fat lady.
Yeah.
You know, like, what the,
That's because you're not even. All your focus on is getting your daughter back. All you focus on is getting your daughter back. So you're not even taking care of
I
yourself.
know.
It's very hard, Darren. I know, baby. I know. But
It sucks. You know?
seriously,
It sucks. But
seriously, we're gonna have to cut the show now.
yeah, Davis, we're getting off the show. Grace, Grace, I'm calling you, Grace.
Shut up, Darren.
I
All right,
swear,
love you guys.
I think you do. I think you call Grace, like you scream and she hears it. She's like,
Yep. I think Grace hears it. Yep. Grace is great. Our show producer is awesome, you guys. She's the best.
Grace is amazing, and thank you for putting up with everything. Grace is great.
Yeah.
And did everybody hear that you should put a like on this, right?
What do you? Yeah.
Oh, Davis is gonna be pissed. All right, I gotta go. Davis is gonna be mad. I gotta make him a backdrop.
Oh yes,
Does he
do
have
the background for him. I'm
Does he
sure.
ever? Oh, I got it. I know what the hell I'm gonna do. I just got a perfect idea. Everybody, stay tuned tomorrow because we're gonna talk about what, Georgette.
We're going to talk about current events from stories that's on the news that's public for everyone. That's CPS stories. That's a current event, meaning it happened recently. That's what we're going to discuss tomorrow.
And
If you guys
talk
have,
about
if
the
you
Las
guys have
Vegas
any
guy?
questions, if you guys have any questions, you guys can address the questions on the show, and I will make sure that I read each and every question, and I'm going to help you as much as I can. Also, please, if you have any questions and you have a legal matter, please call the 888 number 888-6582 and ask for Miss G, and I will be able to set appointments with you and Attorney Davis and see what I can do to help you. Okay?
That's great. Good people to have. And Candace?
Thanks, y'all.
No,
Thanks for being on
Candace,
it.
they have so much good information. She's a small individual with a huge
So much
voice,
knowledge. Yep.
but she's got so much in there. I know, listen, she's way more modest than she is. She'll be back for sure. I would think
Yeah.
she's going to be we're
A
working
little
this out.
small
You know, Miss G?
person with lots of knowledge. That's what we're gonna.
Mhm.
This is a little
Like
small
Candace,
person.
we need to have like Candace a clock or something, you know, like when we got to pick a brain, you know, like Candace the brain, like the Candace box.
I know.
Question a week for Candace, you know?
Wait,
Look, that's what Darren does. Hey, Candace. You know about
Yeah,
this?
it is.
Hey, do you have something? Yeah, just give me a minute. I'll get it to you.
That's the same answer.
See,
It's
the
the
thing
same
is,
answer
we
all the
have
time.
the information, you guys, for you, but you need an attorney to implement it. See, you need an
Right.
attorney
That's
to
it.
implement that information.
Mhm.
There
We
you
can
go.
give you the information, but we
Mhm.
can't implement it for you. So you need a juvenile dependency attorney to make it happen. Remember that your
Not
rights,
the size of the boat, it's the motion of the ocean.
you can make it happen to protect your rights as a parent with the right attorney on your side. That's all I have to say.
Mhm.
Okay?
That being said, good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Or goodbye.
Good night, y'all.